Oh wait, everyone, turn away.
Oh, God.
Places. God, who's our stage manager?
Zach.
Seriously.
Hi there.
God damn it, Zach. Did you
Hi
really
there.
catch it just in time for me to curse?
It's been on. I'm trying to get going. Come on in, grab a seat, grab a drink,
Hey,
and
Zach.
let's tell a
All
story
right.
together. We are Legendary Resistance.
Since now available in plus sizes.
Ooh, I don't know if I should touch that. Oh, there's a joke in there.
Moving on.
Is there? Think
Nope.
carefully.
Oh, move past.
Let's talk about Dungeons and Dragons.
The last time
When last
on-
we
Oh.
when
Sorry,
last
guys.
we left our what? Sorry, what?
That echo that we all just heard was Twitch freaking the absolute fuck out on my phone. I'm sorry.
That's okay. No, that happened to me once. I had Twitch up on the same screen. Maybe I should do something that's entertaining. All right. So when last we had the party together, everyone was in Dalavire, trying to really figure out what the situation was regarding Sebastian's sister and the deal that they would have to make with this shadowy group called simply the Organization. They stayed at a beautiful establishment called the Bookbinders Club and got a somewhat small slice of the city that they got to experience between meetings and getting ready, experiencing the actual smoking room, kind of a lounge that they got to all spend time in. And so there was some downtime, but the culmination of our last meeting was the meeting itself that had to deal with what Eldmoor was going to do to essentially buy out the contract that Sebastian had agreed with the Organization. A high price was demanded and a high price was met. And so now, in 24 hours, the sister will be delivered to the party and they will be escorted to Eldmoor. That is the current agreement and the current situation we find ourselves in. You all were still at a bar in a brothel, kind of the second bar, the back bar, if you will. Sebastian had just found his way back to you after you had all had a conversation where you had kind of discovered some things about each other. So we're going to pick it up there. Sebastian walks in. What do you do?
quick question, if
Yes,
you do
sir.
not mind.
I don't mind.
I have Felicia, Goddess of Death. There's a lot of release of Felicia. And I don't remember what those notes are. Was that when Celeste was trying to recall what was in the ruby?
That's right.
Copy. Thank you. I need to take better notes.
Not a problem at all. And so you're currently in the Willing Mask, in the back bar of the Willing
A
Mask.
willing mask?
Mask.
That's dope. That's a dope
willing
name for a
mirror.
brothel.
That's the
Oh, we're behind.
that's
the
the burlesque-esque club.
Yeah.
Sounds like it.
So everybody's around a table or something when I come in.
They're all on the same table that you were in before you.
I believe we
followed
ended where I
Mira.
just got you a drink
That's right.
Oh, that's right.
We were all talking about our mommy
and gave you a
issues.
sick burn. Yeah. We were
That's
talking about mommy
right.
issues.
That's right.
Hey, welcome aboard.
Yeah. What was the sick burn? It was he's like, I didn't take very long or something, and she was like, yeah, we know, or something to that effect. It was good. Whatever it was good.
Being raided, everyone.
Yeah, we're being raided.
Bane is raiding with a party of 2 raiders. We have to defend ourselves. Batten down some happy thing.
Welcome aboard, guys.
Is this on Twitch right now in the chat?
No, I am personally being raided. I need to go defend my home. Yes, it is.
Oh,
Yes, exactly. It's on Twitch. Okay.
I mean, I don't know where you live, you know? Oh, sorry everybody, I can't pull up Twitch on my phone.
you know what?
right now.
Let's
It's not
stop.
letting me.
Let's stop this painful conversation about what Twitch is, and just continue on. All right. So, Sebastian, You see them all seated there.
Sit down.
You're there.
And,
Yeah.
left handing me the drink. Sit down. Take a big drink, and say, "What's the plan?" So let's say that we get my sister back successfully, and then what?
It's true. I mean, I know that your new friend Mira wants her to go with her. Is our plan to do that?
I have never been to Eldmoor. Maybe someone that has lived there would like to talk about it more. Look around.
Is your sister coming with us?
I don't know. I wouldn't speak for her. I would hope that, well, I don't know. Maybe she wants to get out of the city. Maybe she doesn't. If we do go to Eldmoor, I don't think I would want her to come with us. It sounds like a dangerous place.
It is.
Not to put a damper on it, but do we know that your sister's alive?
That's a real question. I haven't seen her. I imagine that the deal is contingent upon her actually
being alive?
delivered.
Delivered sounds an awful lot like a package.
I don't think it's like a pact with a genie or something like that. I think it's spirit. I don't know. I have no idea.
I meant like delivering a crate. Deliver doesn't sound like... I hope she's alive.
Thanks, Celeste.
I stare at the suds in my beer and watch them slowly go down, and I look real awkward.
Concerned about what happens
Okay,
when we get
so
to
let's
Eldmoor.
operate. Right. We've got this eternal lord, supposedly incredibly interested in us.
So
Is our
say
plan
we
just
don't.
to meet him?
Yes, so say we don't go to Eldmoor. Then we have the GEE after us. We've got the Great Western Exploratory Company us already. We would have Eldmoor and the Eternal Lord. Yeah, I'm holding my fingers up too, if you just can't see them on the screen. The
Actually
Eternal
keeping
Lord,
count.
and also the organization would no longer be blocked by the GEE or Eldmoor.
REE.
I can't think of any
REE.
other
Awful lot of
large...
enemies.
Or REE, that's right. The GWEC and the REE.
Not to
Yeah.
dogpile, but don't forget that we don't have many friends left in Atlantis either. Not just talk about the Great Western.
And two
Clans are
families.
not the biggest fan of us.
We go to
Most of the time
Eldmoor, and
we
at
try to
least
make
it's
them allies.
one group not trying to kill us actively. Probably.
Seems like a pretty good idea. Okay. Feel a little bit like we're being taken to be used as tools, which I don't love, but we certainly are racking up our enemies and aren't telling very many on our ally side. Not to mention our alliance is strained.
Wyatt? What do you think about going home?
How much time you got? Actually, how much beer you gonna buy me?
Got
Those are one and the same questions. I have many feelings about that. So if I go back, some wrongs can potentially be righted, and then some very bad things could happen. But I feel like well, Jesus, almost since I've met y'all, I've been kind of feeling in the same position no matter what we kind of do. Yeah. The only reason I'd vote for Eldmoor is if we're gonna blow some shit up, that would be a good place to start. If things went wrong.
What are the drawbacks?
I'm not much like there.
What about this Eternal Lord?
I don't know much about him, to be honest.
Never met him?
No. No, I thought I did, but I've been thinking about that a lot, and I'm pretty sure that was another fancy lord or some shit. I haven't been there in over a decade, so
Sounds
it's been a
an
while.
awful lot like your family has tension. I use that word again with the Eternal Lord.
Yeah, that's a nice way to put it.
You think he's the one that pulled the contract from the organization for you, or is this something different?
I don't know. I wouldn't expect so. I feel like if something I feel like he was in a mood to have me there in front of him to serve as some sort of punishment or something. He would much more take the lines of what you did best rather than offering us lands and titles and, you know, helping friends out and communicating.
Well, it's still an unknown, so right now it seems mostly possible to do this thing. Diz, you're not saying much.
To listen rather than speak when I don't have all the information.
You have an opinion on whether it's good or bad? Which way to jump?
Well, you went over my head no matter what we do. I thought it was contingent on getting your sister back that we went to Eldmoor.
My thought was that we would get her and get into the wind. Just run. But
I am good at running.
Sebastian.
I honestly don't know. I mean, I feel like my bridges are burned home currently. I definitely am worried about my family. We didn't see my father before we fled. I hope my mother is able to hole up somewhere, but I don't know. I think we made a pretty good argument that we don't need another very large, powerful enemy. I think maybe it's time we try to make some allies.
Where is Delavire versus Althandis versus Eldmoor and like a map kind of area?
Althandis is like this direction. Delavire's down here and Eldmoor's up here.
So it's not like we could go this way.
Landis, Delavire, and then way down here is Eldmoor.
That's right.
Is Delavire's in the middle?
Yes, almost exactly.
Okay.
So you are going to the other end of the known world from Althandis to go to Eldmoor. I mean, you've got an entire continent and an ocean in a way. You'd be as far from home as you can possibly get and still be in what's considered the known world. For those of you that are from Althandis.
So it sounds like we're going to Eldmoor.
Cheers.
I'm a lot better at running when I've got somewhere to run to. Currently,
And
I don't.
I gotta say, I'm sorry.
Currently, I don't have a ship. I don't particularly have any destination. What were you gonna say, Wyatt?
I gotta say, like with the lands and titles, if that isn't a bullshit offer, no matter what else happens, y'all always have a place to come back to. Place to call home if you need it. It's nice to have.
You have those things already,
Not for a while.
but you had them.
Not now, no.
No, I understand not now, but before.
Yeah.
So, if we have them now and something happens where we fall out of favor, they could easily be taken away.
That's leverage.
Yeah.
I've only ever heard.
Well, we're
bad
talking about
things.
gaining allies, and if I'm saying that we're trying to talk about gaining allies, and if we gain an ally, him to have a home base forever, I feel like that's a pretty good deal, especially compared to like some of those other shit people have offered us.
What does he want from us?
I don't know.
That's the big question, though, isn't it? Like, what binds us together? What does he want? I mean, if we ran from here, I don't even know how we would run.
You know,
This is your
people
city
in this-
bashed.
Yeah, there are people in the city that could help us get away. I don't know how effectively. I got caught the last time.
And maybe it's best if we find out what they want from us. Although we'll be in a ends of the world, it might be harder to run there.
That's the worst part of it for me, that we're going into this fortress
Huge
of
unknown.
something.
Yeah. It's not great.
Yeah.
What's the culture like? What's is it like Daelivire? Is it like Althandis? It seems, from the small amount I've talked to Mira, a very like militaristic place.
I wouldn't call it militaristic. I would call it very nature first. Like family was very important, but social or national responsibility is also pretty damn important. Yeah.
Seems weird that we're gonna go along with Mira. It's a strange concept for me.
Honestly, she's
Well,
starting to grow
transfer
on me.
Go get another round of drinks.
Yeah, about that time, someone walks over to your table, and it's a tall, dark-skinned woman with dark hair that's pulled back in braids down her back, high cheekbones, but kind of like light brown eyes, and she looks down at all of you and she says, "Looks like your speaking is thirsty work. Can I get you something else?"
Another round would be great. Thank you.
She gracefully bows away and heads back and makes some more drinks for all of you. As you talk, she comes and then sets one each in front of you and takes the other glasswares away.
Fuck.
She does give you a nod, Sebastian.
Do I recognize her?
Make an intelligence check.
Oh, great. Perfect. 10, 11.
She's vaguely familiar, but it's hard to place where it would be from.
Give her a friendly nod.
She goes back behind the bar.
All right, so Eldmoor bound.
Make you feel any better? The way you outsail a galleon is much different than the way you outsail something comparable to your own size. It's much different than the way you outrun a smaller, faster ship than you. So maybe we don't have to go entirely along with everything that Mira says. Maybe we're just sizing up what we're outrunning later.
Worst comes to
Good
worst.
way to put it.
If we're on this ship and it comes down to it, can you sail it?
Not for myself, I couldn't.
I'm a seasoned hand at the rigging. I don't know if you noticed me. I say that sarcastically, obviously.
Sure did. Even with the four of us, it would just depend on the size of the ship. If we could convince any of them to cross over to our side, we might get a couple more deckhands, but I don't have the money to pay them for very long.
So, how much money do you guys have on your hand right now?
I feel like I have like 2 coppers to rub together.
Do you still have
I don't
the
think that's
good
true.
gold I gave you?
That's a great question. I have 163 gold, and I don't remember how.
And you guys should have just about the
silver.
same. Diz and
You have 8?
Celeste.
8
You should
silver.
No, you don't. That's not right.
No, I don't. I lied. I have 17 gold.
55 gold.
All of you should have been
What
given.
happened to the 200 gold you got?
You should have
We
the split.
paid.
Oh no, she
Yeah.
paid. She paid for the ship.
I paid for the
Yeah.
ship to come after Wyatt with that.
Yep.
I thought I
That's
gave
right.
you
That's
100
true.
gold, and that's what you gave that person.
No, she had to pay more.
You sure?
No.
Okay,
But it's recorded,
I
so
trust
you
you.
find it.
I trust you. I'm just trying to say, that I was just asking about your current finances to see how accurate your instincts
They're
were.
not great.
Yeah, I thought you were substantially richer. And you've got
How much?
closet full of nice clothes, like a whole wardrobe, 2
John,
wardrobes
I've
full.
been spending. I've been spending money on other things. Remember, so I'm purposefully kind of nerfing my own pocket there.
True.
Oh, you did drop a shit ton of gold off in some shady thing.
Yeah, shady place.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
Celeste?
Only backstory we've gotten.
That's not true.
Little nugget. She was talking, I think, to Mira after their little night together.
Okay.
Let's not forget about that.
Okay, let's not harp on her. On her backstory. We figured out in character. Okay. If you ever do. So, and I also, as you guys are having this conversation, if there's something that you're not sure about, you can just say, "Hey, John, do I know this?" Or, "Hey, feel free to use me as a reference while you're having this conversation," because we're getting into some important stuff. So,
in that light, how comfortable am I that even though it's been 15 years, that I could escape the same way I did if something happens in Eldmoor? How comfortable would I?
So I can't speak to your level of comfort because I can't play your character in that way. But what I can say is that you know very well that everything in Eldmoor is controlled. So if something is given, something can be taken away. Loyalty is greatly rewarded, but disloyalty is even more severely punished. So offering you this olive branch is a great sign of generosity from the crown, and it would not look favorably for that to turn to disloyalty later. Also, you know that
Copy.
just because people have estates doesn't mean they live on them.
Mhm.
Most of the
Could be like a
nobility,
source of revenue.
most of the nobility actually lives in the capital. So, Ulthon, I kind of mentioned that place earlier in a previous game.
Stand up
Copy.
and walk over to the bar.
Okay.
Kind of just like lean up on it and drink my beer.
Okay.
See if I can place the bartender, or if she comes up to me, I'll talk to her.
She's over there speaking with 3 men who kind of look pretty rough to be in this bar, and it reminds you that this is like locals kind of come in the back room here on a regular basis from all walks of life. And then she kind of notices you, and after wrapping up her conversation, slides down the bar and does that thing bartenders always do, where she's polishing the bar a little bit, you know, whether it needs it or not.
Your
Need
face
something
is-
else?
No, your face is vaguely familiar to me.
I was wondering if you would notice. I don't look the same way as I used to.
Well, I don't know what that means.
I go by Alabaster now. But you just knew me as Allie. And you absolutely remember Allie. She was this totally short, petite little girl that ran like on a neighborhood street and was very similar to you growing up.
How long have you worked here?
3 years?
Wow.
I haven't seen you in forever. I thought you were dead.
Close. Close. It's nice to see you again. I'm glad that you, is this making it? I don't know.
Let's just say I do well for myself, and I'm very comfortable. Much better than most of our old friends.
I saw somebody yesterday from the old group. His
Oren.
name is, what's that? Oren?
Oren.
Yeah, that's right. Great phrase. I saw Oren yesterday. Did you know him?
Yeah, vaguely. Once you and he kind of got into what you got into, I you know, kind of took a different path.
Better or worse?
A lot of girls for worse. But. So what are you doing?
Great question.
Yeah, that's what I say. That's a great question.
Is your sister here?
I hope so.
Okay.
That's why I'm here. Just to find her. We got in some trouble. And hopefully we're out of it. But you know how hope goes.
Yeah. Sure.
Brings a turtle.
Let's get some shots
Sure.
or some whatever.
Old neighborhood bad stuff, or I mean, how high are you going these days?
Yeah, whatever the equivalent of like Old Crow is.
So all alcohol is by quarter, by neighborhood. And so if you go Old Brickmeyer stuff, it's like probably won't go blind, but it'll get you hammered.
I mean, it's not grog, right?
Night train, baby.
Oh, speaking of going blind,
So you say that, and she laughs, and she says, lucky for you, we don't even have that here. So I'll go ahead and I'll give you some gold scored stuff. It'll be fine. Better than what you're used to. So she pours some stuff out, and then she says, look, it's none of my business, but sometimes we're paid to overhear things. I couldn't help but overhear that you guys are having some troubles. Anyone from the old neighborhood, if you need some help, if I can't help you, I know people, so just something to think about. You're not alone here, you know? We all grew up together.
My hand on her hand and kind of give her a little squeeze and say thank you very much. That means a lot. Hopefully one day I'll be able to return the favor.
She smiles in a very friendly way, and then she pulls her hand back and she says, "Sorry, I got paying customers, so watch that."
Yeah, no, I wasn't lingering. I was just like, thanks.
Anyway, think it over. Here are your shots. And then someone else, she's immediately gliding over to the other end of the bar to have a conversation with someone else who's flagging her down.
Shots up. Bring him over.
Okay.
And hear the end of Celeste's rambling story.
Whoa. Whoa.
And that's how the cat's
We were talking about like other family members, and then we saw Bass come over, and we're like, "Oh,
Your brother? What?
When he sets the shots down, I'm going to take mine, slide it to him, and then take his shot and slide it to me, and I'll drink that one, just in case.
See what?
Clever girl.
Tap mine on the table and like raise it before I take mine.
Everybody make a
I drink
conversation
mine and then
saving
start
throw.
like a timer.
I'm gonna watch Celeste take her shot. Drink.
Let's do sip it.
Daintily.
This is delicious.
I love it. Could I have another? I'm like,
All
it's
right.
very good.
Don, how potent was that?
I mean, it wasn't. You have to dilute it with salt water on the ship, but it's pure stuff.
Oh.
There are people around that are happy to help us. But
Capacity.
hopefully we won't need it. Oh, probably in whatever capacity.
Good to know.
Smuggling or jumping ship or, cut someone's throat. Whatever.
Glad you left friends behind. I mean that sincerely.
Allie makes a pretty case beanie.
Okay. So you guys all just kind of drink in silence for a little bit. Eventually look at each other and realize that no one's talked for 5, 10, 15 minutes.
We should probably get some sleep if we're gonna be fully prepared to get your sister tomorrow.
Go off without a hitch.
Alright. Alabaster comes up for you guys to settle up. It's gonna be 1.5 gold pieces.
Each or all together?
Together. She nudges Sebastian with her elbow and says, "Locals rate."
Give her 10 gold.
Do you seriously?
Flinging that around. Jesus.
It just disappears. You put it on the table, and she's just like picking everything up, and it's just gone. She gives you one like little knowing nod, and then She's back behind the bar like nothing happened.
I'll leave the kid's toy on the table.
Dadgummit, you creepy.
Creepy.
I'll do that. I need
He's
to
a
make it into a
kid.
necklace.
That's a weird way to tell someone that.
Okay, so
Yep.
you guys make your way back outside.
Yeah, like mechanically towards the.
You walk back. You go back up. Go ahead.
I was gonna say I'd like to offer my arm to Celeste, partially because it's just nice and Diz doesn't ever need me, but also because I think it will piss off Bass a little bit, so I'm gonna enjoy that.
I like look up and I like very graciously put my hand through your arm and like swish my skirts up. Then, thank you.
No, watch
Yeah.
that.
While
happen.
I'm
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
I was just saying while I do that, it's very satisfying because I was just thinking like he's talking about all the friends he has while he drugged all of us. Like it's like, yeah, I got all these friends
Yeah.
that'll help us because I've never drugged or kidnapped them. It's like, thanks for pointing that out,
Rolled
bro.
them in a goddamn rug.
It's a yeah, right. Jesus,
Things be different.
goodness.
That happen and then take out whatever I was fanning myself with before. Just kind of like very sadly and very ladylike, like continue down behind them with nobody to escort me.
I noticed this behind me ever.
How did you notice it behind you?
Well, I mean, like, I'm assuming I don't just like walk straight ahead and not talk the entire time.
I'll take the lead.
If I notice the waving the hat or whatever she's using, I'm gonna clock that for later.
What did you say, Sebastian?
I'll take the lead
What does that mean?
since I know where I'm going.
Okay, so you're gonna go up front. All right, so you guys go a couple blocks up, make your way north, and hit that large main avenue, the way of the gate that you saw previously, and it's much less crowded at this point in time, but still there are way more people than you ever expected to be out at this incredibly late hour. You turn west, make your way, and you start to hear the chatter of many voices, and you come across that large market area that you saw out of the floating carriage. And it is exactly what you expected in some ways. It's a massive market, absolutely huge. There are shops and tents and people that just have blankets spread on the ground with their wares on them, buildings of massive proportions and the most humble of vendors. And there are lights strung everywhere, and many of them are just suspended in the air, floating by themselves. Some of them move and kind of just jaunt around the open air, never quite leaving and floating up into the heavens. And some of these places are still open. You see people laughing, talking. You see like all-night eateries where people are sitting outside having flagons of some, something to enjoy, and some sort of street food that's being served right there. It's a very lively atmosphere even now, and it's well after midnight at this point. You guys make your way past there and head back up north in Canyon Way, and very soon you see the statue, even more impressive while walking, of Alessandra Rain. The ruby hair barely glowing in the star and moonlight. And then you make your way back until you see the entrance of the Bookbinders Club. By this point, yes, you have noticed, about halfway through, you look back and you realize that Diz is just kind of fanning herself and looking around, and a slight air of dejection.
I will offer my other hand, have over halfway through the journey.
The whole walk, I want to spend it kind of like somewhat leaning against Wyatt and like, obnoxiously like, I was raised to flirt. I was raised to find a husband. So using those like wily ways of like leaning in, laughing, pointing out the floating lights, but I'm also like actually, thank you. But I'm also very delighted by all of this. And John, I want to keep my eyes open for any like night vendors that are selling those fans and stuff, because I want to be stylish here.
I want you to make a perception check, but I also want you to make a persuasion check.
Intrigued.
Why, when you offer me your other arm, I'm just gonna kind of like indicate to Celeste. You look like you got your hands full.
So this is very fun, John. My perception, which adds 0, is a 19, and my persuasion, which I add 6 to, is a 10.
Ain't that just Dungeons and Dragons? All right, so
yep,
sure is.
All right, so you're flirting, like especially like from a spectator's point of view.
Not very well.
Like Diz and even Wyatt, and Sebastian can hear this behind him.
Yeah,
a little
honest.
bit.
Wyatt does not pick up on shit.
No, I mean
never.
It just sounds forced. It sounds a little disingenuous, a little performative. Not terribly, but it just strikes everyone as a little wooden. And Wyatt probably just thinks that you're being kind.
Good.
And when Diz says that, I would like to offer again and be like, I think we both could use your shit. I just lost the word. Escort. As in, like, I'm not escorting you. I want you to escort both of us.
I'll kind of like. Weasel is not the word that I want to use. I'll kind of like interpose my way in between both of them and then give them both.
I accept.
It's a lot more appropriate than you'd realize at first, I think.
So as that happens, Celeste, you look over at all this and you glance over and you crane your neck a little bit to look around Diz as you're looking into this market, and there's a small vendor with a little wagon, and it's just a wagon that can be pulled by a human being. It's not like, it doesn't need like a beast of burden. It's very small, but you spot two things. You immediately spot a whole row of wagons, a whole row of fans, and like little handheld something. You can't tell. There might be mirrors or something like that. There's just all these little affectations and accoutrements that are on this little table in front of this wagon. But it's in front of this massive building that has a ship coming out of the front of it on like the third floor. Yeah, like the entire front of a ship is coming out of it.
It's amazing. So as I see it, I like tug on Diz's arm in the way that I would have tugged on my mother's arm
Right.
in the market. And like for a split second, it's like I forget that I'm not like just in the market with my mom. And I'm like, do you think we could get some? I mean, we would blend in a lot more. I know you already blend in a lot better here. Anyway, could we get some?
Oh, I don't see the harm in it. Come on. I'll let her lead me.
So Sebastian, you notice out of the corner of your eye when you're kind of looking around that they start veering off and going deeper into the market itself.
Is there any harm in that?
The Bendarian Plaza is the busiest trade center of the city. It is where tons and tons of people go shopping. It's also where tons and tons of people at night get pickpocketed.
What
So
time is it?
it's probably 1 or 2 in the morning at this point.
Okay. I'll just kind of keep an eye on him.
Okay.
Oh my god. More, Dad, please pet my head.
It's amazing. This dog
Excuse
like is
me.
leaning in.
This is
Alright.
why I love this dog so much.
Alright.
Okay, so
So I
Look
go
at
up
this
to
biggest
the cart.
pacifier.
Oh, the puppy kisses!
So I'd like
Sorry,
to
whatever's going on in this is way more.
look at a couple. I'd just like to pick up a couple of fans, and I want to find one that matches like Diz's eyes, and hold it up to her and be like, "I think this would look incredibly flattering with you." And I like kind of hold it up to my eyes, and then hold it up to her. What do you think?
She's very, like, complimented, so she kind of blue screens for a second and is like, "Thank you, Celeste. Yeah, thanks. I love it."
So-
And I turn to the vendor. How much for these two?
So the vendor's a kind of a sinewy old woman with a shockingly red dress that has like frills and tassels all over it. And she also has like this kind of dark curly-haired dog that Wyatt and Diz have been staring at, while you've been buying fans. And Wyatt especially, that just says, hasn't been paying attention to anything that's happening. So she says, "Oh, lovely, you have a wonderful eye. Ah, yes, they are silver apiece."
I'll pay for both of them, or however many she wants.
I was going to get them. Just these two.
Mm.
And it's a silver piece, or a silver for both?
A silver
I take out
apiece.
1 silver for both. Oh, I thought for sure you said a silver for both.
Do you think I don't know the price of my own wares when I make them by hand?
John, do they look like they would be worth that?
Make an investigation check.
Are these like knockoff Oakleys?
I swear it's a real roller.
24. I'm
Oh.
deep. I know the deep in and out of the
And the fan market.
hand
Uh,
red silk.
I mean, they look handmade, but like everything in this world is handmade, right? So,
Everything was artisanal.
right, there's no such thing as mass-produced. They're okay. They're good fans, but they're not hanging in a museum.
All right,
So I
that's
need
fine.
2 silver.
Give her 2 silver.
Okay.
It's not worth it.
She beams. and
When
thanks
when
you.
when all that happens, if y'all are to be paying attention, Wyatt looks very annoyed for a second, because that was his plan for later.
What a sweetheart. So I see him looking annoyed, and I'm like, "Did you want one?"
No, I got one. Thank you.
I actually probably have some nice skirts here too.
They do not.
Weren't you looking for those?
Do you have? Do,
No.
They do have
no, it doesn't
scarves.
sell skirts, John.
Scarves. Pretty much anything you can kind of like tuck into or use or wear like on top of all like the rest of your outfit.
I would like to buy a nice handkerchief.
She's got one.
I would like to start practicing like sleight of hand and like magic with it.
There are lots of silk handkerchiefs here.
Awesome. I'm gonna get a big one, and I'm really gonna start working on that, John. Like every night.
You get a big
future
one.
reference.
She says, "That's wonderful. That'll be 2 silver." Okay.
Least.
Go for it.
All right. And Sebastian, you actually recognize it's right out in front of Harkenquester, which is the most famous store in the Elvire period.
So that's why they're so expensive. Cool. I just keep an eye out, make sure nobody gets robbed.
Okay. All right, you guys head back up. Make your way
Super
back
excited.
to Bookbinders Club.
Practice with my
And-
band.
Mm-hmm.
You walk inside. You see just as many staff as at 2 a.m. as you did, in the middle of the day. The clientele has slimmed down quite a bit. You walk by the smoking room and look in there, and there's still plenty of activity going on in there, but again, not quite as much as there was previously. Do you guys back to your room, or what do you do?
Those dwarf guys still here?
I'm going to give you a percentage chance that they are. Ha! They are!
Yeah! Are any of them looking at their pocket watches?
Oh yeah. About that.
Well,
Yeah,
we don't
so
know
many
their pocket watches. They just said chain.
I had so many.
so
So,
many pocket
We don't know if they're pocket
watches.
watches.
one of the dwarves is there, and he's talking with a half-elven gentleman. And you kind of like linger back a little bit and just watch, and you see the dwarf talk and gesticulate a little bit, and then he reaches into his pocket and he pulls out this small little gadget. You have no idea what it does. It's like a little cube, and he absently winds it up and puts it back in his pocket.
Which is Doomsday device.
Thing to her, but I'm really enjoying it.
Yeah, it's amazing.
I'll walk the lady and gentleman back to their rooms unless they express any desire to do anything else.
Alright, so everyone goes back.
Yeah, I'm gonna go to the bar.
Oh, okay. Celeste, Sebastian, what do you guys do?
Dog sneeze like 6. Dog sneeze.
That's all right. I'm in Philadelphia where there are fireworks going off nonstop. So
Oh,
Sorry about
Memorial Day.
Yeah. I'll go to the bar, and I'll just speak to the bartender and ask, do you if I need something found, could I is that a service y'all provide? Can I give you something and then y'all go find it for me and bring it back?
So it's a man. He's actually half elven as well. Like a short beard, short hair, 2 very large earrings. He leans forward. I'm sorry. Find something? You're gonna have to be a little more specific.
Yeah, I just need like some basic like herbal remedies, plant stuff, things of that nature. If I give you a list, could someone go get that for me?
It's possible.
I mean, if it's not, if y'all don't provide that service, no big deal. I just assumed with how nice this place was, but no big deal.
If you want us to order something for you and have it brought to your room, that is certainly possible. If you want us to shop for you, well, that's more difficult, especially if it's a large,
No, all right.
varied list. But we try to accommodate however we can.
Thank you. I will let you know, and I will leave, because that was not what I was expecting.
Okay.
And I would like to stop someone and get another cigar on my way to my room.
All right. Easily managed.
I'm very excited about cigars.
Okay, so everyone goes back to their room. Everybody goes ahead and crashes. I'm assuming.
Whenever we get in there and I see them kind of meandering safely to their places, I'm going to try to subtly slip back out. Not like creepy, but just like wait for a time and then slide out and just go find a rooftop somewhere, like an old nook, above some place that I remember growing up, just to get a good look at everything, breathe for a minute.
Okay. You head back towards the southeastern part of the city. You go up to one of your old haunts where you and your sister used to go up there and look north at the towers up in the northern part of the city. They're still doing just like they used to, glowing. You can occasionally see like a slight bit of movement between them in the sky that blots out starlight.
I'm gonna bamf just a small knife out and carve our name in the wall. And after I'm done with that, I will kind of lean back against the wall and close my eyes and lift my head up and say, do you have anything to say about Eldmoor?
Are your eyes open?
They're closed.
At first there's nothing, and then you get this strange sensation. You know when you're laying in bed with someone and they've been laying next to you looking up, but then they roll over and their face is like right here, almost like their nose just below your ear, right? You feel like that. You feel like someone rolls over. You can almost feel their breath on your neck, and you hear very quietly, "No, but she's alive."
I know she is. But it's good to hear it. What about this great lord, the undead lord?
The scent of lavender becomes overwhelming. It gets into your eyes. It almost chokes you. You like start blinking, and you raise up a little bit, and you look over where you carved your name, and underneath that, in a completely different hand, is carved, "Kill Yveth Nisect."
Scratch that out. Don't do that. That's horrifying. I'm like in a nice place and now I'm not. It's like, okay, great. I'll get up and leave. Go back to the place. Go back to the bookbinding.
The Bookbinders Club, yeah.
Yeah, bookbinders club. Go to sleep.
Make a perception check.
Natural 20 for I bet it's 20.
Okay, right after the market, you realize someone's following you.
Cut down a shortcut.
Okay.
Like step around a corner and be sneaky.
Make a stealth check.
18. Wait, no, that's deception. 17.
Okay. Alright, so duck into an alley. You walk around past some large residential places, and then kind of go between like the very narrowest part of the alley between two of these large estates, and duck down into the shadows, which there are. I mean, this entire alleyway is nothing but shadows, and you just wait, and you wait, and you wait. You don't hear anything else. You don't see anything else, but you definitely saw an adult figure. It looked larger than a female figure, unless it was a large woman. It was cloaked. It was behind you. Really, really well done. But it was definitely following you, mimicking your movements, and trying to appear like it was not.
See if I can spot them.
You go back out a little bit and look out into the busy street.
Yeah, try to stay hidden while I do it, but yeah.
Make a perception check.
Let's do 3.
You look out. I mean, there aren't that many people out now, but you don't spot that person again.
Oh, good. Take a different way home.
Okay. Get back to the Bookbinders Club, otherwise unaffected.
Sleep up against the door again.
Okay. Everyone else asleep at this point? Alright. Morning comes to...
I'm actually.
Uh-oh.
I'm just gonna say I'm gonna go through all my alchemical stuff and just make a list of all the things that I need to be refilled on and stuff because of how many times I've moved and probably cracked stuff and lost stuff or used stuff.
Yeah, your alchemical kit's looking pretty rough at this point.
So, have a list.
Great. I just spared you all. I had to blow my nose off camera. Okay. So, everyone wakes up. Morning greets you all at different times as you wake up at different times. Those of you who are early risers, the sun is coming down the alleyway that looks out into your windows. You can see like the far wall glow with morning light. Those of you who wake up a little later, it's kind of this overall general ambient light that pervades the rest of your room. You are now awake and free. All of you do know, however, there is a note under your door. Alright, you get out and look it up. And it simply says, I am available downstairs if you need me, Mira.
Get up and go eat breakfast.
Okay. Alright.
And by breakfast, I mean have beer.
Alright, so you go into the smoking room and you see it's already fairly busy. The bar area is pretty dead, but the rest of the room is packed. There are people out. Can you guys hear that? Awesome.
Is it your dog or fireworks?
Fireworks.
What the two?
Yeah. Which is, I'm so excited you cannot hear them. And one of the tables, though, you definitely see Mira. She is talking to two people, a man and a woman. And as you look at her, she looks up at you and says something to them, and they get up and they leave. Is anyone else up by the same time, or?
I will.
Okay. All right.
I'm not having beer for breakfast, though, so I don't know if that changes my location.
You all walk into the same room, so. So you also see these people leaving. Mira then raises a hand towards you both.
Any recognition of who those people are?
You've never seen them before.
Okay. Are they dressed in uniforms? Or?
Make perception checks. Either one of you can.
11.
Didn't really get a good look at them. You didn't really notice anything. Yeah, neither one of you do. Like, basically like you saw them sitting with their backs to you, and then they just got up and then they said something to her and they left. So all you really saw was the back and like a cloak on one of them and just like a broad
Any of
shoulders
them?
on the other.
Did either of them look like a figure? Like the person who was skulking around? Okay. Dig it.
So do you go to your own table or do you go to see Mira?
I guess sit at her table.
Okay.
I take my own table.
All right. So Mira looks over at Daisy. She says, "I trust you had a good evening."
Oh, it was a blast.
You're probably a bundle of nerves. Yes.
You know, I just feel like whenever a point like this happens in my life, it always goes sideways. Just expect it to. But as long as she gets out safe, then come what may, right?
Yes. But we shall follow through with our part of our bargain. Rest assured.
Seems like it's lucrative enough to them to come through on yours too.
Yes. I see no reason why today shouldn't go off exactly as planned.
Here's to it. Any indication of what time it's going to happen?
I have heard nothing so far. I'm not really used to being treated like this again. It's interesting.
I'm sorry?
I'm not used to being treated like this again. It's, interesting.
Treated like how?
Like I don't matter. Even when I was masquerading as a harlot in Othandis, there was a certain respect. You know? But that's alright. Okay, guys, calm it down with the chat.
Yeah, I'm super distracted right now.
Yeah.
All it was masquerading. Ma'am, I paid you. I have to break some bad news for you.
Yeah.
The job, you got paid for it.
Professional now. This
You're now
imposter
professional,
syndrome.
that's
She's
right.
gotta push that away somewhere.
Are you anxious to get back to Eldmoor?
Do you know, it will be nice. It will be nice to get back. Have you ever been? Of course
No,
not. Have you ever left De La Vire before all of this?
Well, Bandis.
Before, yes, before Althandis.
Just once.
Where did you go?
Out. Not far. Just escaping.
Eldmoor is different. It's very different, but it's a good different.
I've only heard bad things.
Well, of course. You're the ancient enemy, after all.
Oh, that doesn't make me feel any better.
Well, I mean you in a general sense, of course. You are very soon to be an ally of the Eternal Kingdom. Whereas De La Vire is... Well, to De La Vire, we're the boogeyman. We are the land of evil. It's all because a great man came from this place and had different ideas, and they refused him. And cast
I
him
don't
out.
know any of that story, right?
We'll make a history check.
11, 12, 12.
I mean, you've heard of Eldmoor. You know that they were at war at one point.
Not that he was ran out. Alright. RUNNOFT. I have no idea what I'm supposed to do between now and when something happens. I'm like losing my mind.
She says, "Is there anything in the city that you want to do in the meantime?" Of course not. Enjoy your beer. I need to write a letter. So
Best of luck.
she pulls out some notes, and she's got food, and there's like bread and olive oil and eggs, and there's just like this small assortment of kind of a Mediterranean style platter laid out in front of her, but it's like kind of divided up in several dishes.
Is it my understanding that this thing's going to happen in the evening?
They said they would contact us within 24 hours for delivery.
Alright. I'll head back to the Willing Mask, maybe at midday, and if stuff happens before that, then we can do that, and then I can do this later.
Perfect. Alright, everybody else, what are you guys doing? Just kind of kicking around, waiting?
I'm keeping an eye on Mira from across the room.
Leave. I'm gonna sit with Diz, and I will smoke a pipe, drink some coffee, and then just pull random books down and be reading through those. I'll order breakfast and probably forget about it because I'm reading and smoking and drinking coffee and forgetting about my food in front of me, which is a lot of times.
Your breakfast is getting cold, dear.
Oh, and I'll like continue reading and like just absentmindedly like grab like one bite and then do the thing where it's like close to your mouth and then forget about it. Like slides off and just here. And then empty fork and just.
Celeste, what are you doing?
Just hanging out, I guess, eating breakfast, porridge.
So, I'm very aware this is a very tense situation. It's supposed to be. But I also want to say that for many of you, it should not be lost in your characters that this is the largest city in the world. You've never been there before. And that might play on your mind. After about an hour of you guys just kind of like loitering during breakfast time, someone comes in, kind of a shabby looking, there's some sort of a uniform, but it looks like it's old and worn out. Like the guy found the uniform on the street or something like that. It's dusty. He's got like this like kind of like sad looking cap, kind of an ugly man. Walks in, and everyone's kind of looking at him, and you see a couple people that work there kind of like coming up to talk to him, but he kind of evades them and walks directly over to Mira and just nods his head, throws a folded letter sealed on the table, and then like almost comedically kind of like does this what, and then like goes around the people that work at the Bookbinders Club and then darts back out the door.
Like a soccer field, like when they run out. Yeah.
It's, like when you're walking down the hallway and you and the same person are like trying to go, you're always moving in the same direction, trying to get around each other. It's kind of like that. Mira opens the letter and looks and says, "Okay. 10 p.m. The Fig and Fable. Okay.
Did we notice that happen?
Mm.
Okay.
I mean, you've literally been sitting around waiting for anything to happen. I mean, as soon as this guy walked in the door, you all looked at him.
For what it's worth, just because you reminded me of it before, I am dressed much nicer today than usual.
Okay.
And as soon as that happens, I'll like give the air a couple minutes to clear until people kind of like go back to whatever they were doing. And then like very casually kind of like stroll over to Mira, like very ladylike, and like sit.
10
What was
p.m.
that about?
10 p.m. at the Fig and Fade.
Where is that?
From what I remember, it is a rather large inn and tavern that's near the Ventarian Plaza.
Did I get any kind of read on her? Like, how nervous is she?
Make an insight check.
Ooh, non-natural 20.
She looks completely fine, except all the skin around her eyes right here is like white.
She's been like,
Whenever someone's not looking, she's just, and she just looks drawn. And she's a lovely woman with just kind of naturally supple skin and this like smooth face, and so it's hard to get, but you get a really good look at her, and you can see these just like little cracks of strain in her perfect, I was going to say porcelain facade, but she has darker skin and complexion. But it's there. You see it.
in what ways are you anticipating this going horribly wrong tonight?
I don't imagine there will be any causes for alarm or any reason to suspect any deviation. It's in their best interest to go along with our offer.
Great.
Fine. If something were to happen, it would simply be if they could get more.
Can they get more?
I seriously don't think so.
So there's a chance that they're just squeezing you for as much as they can carry, and they're not going to make this trade.
She looks around, and right now at this point it's just you and Sebastian at her table. She leans forward towards you a little bit, and she reaches forward and puts a couple fingers on your wrist. And she says, "What I'm worried about is that there's some subtlety that I've missed. That when we get back to Eldmoor, they say you didn't do this, you didn't think of this, or even worse, this is the deal, this is how you handled this situation. Eldmoor is an amazing place, but it's not a forgiving one." And then she leans back and takes her fingers from your hand and straightens her top, and anyway, I'm sure everything's going to be fine.
There seemed like a familiarity when she did that to Diz.
Make an insight check.
7.
No.
Meanwhile, a month and a half ago,
It's probably like 2
I
weeks
know
ago. It was like 3 weeks ago, right?
we were on a ship for so long.
It's true. It's true.
Great. 10 o'clock. Big and
Fable.
Fable? Do we want to leave from
Like a
here?
very long pause. Sorry, Jeremy, were you done?
I asked a question, do we want to leave from here or just meet there at 10?
As long as we're all together, I could care less.
Alright. We'll see you there. Head out.
Go ahead, Diz.
Jeremy, were you done? Sorry.
Yep, I left. Away from the table. Gone.
Great. So then, when Sebastian leaves, I gave her like a very long pause. Did you do your best?
Like, just a little laugh gets out. I think so. I hope so. You have not been easy.
And just get back up and go back to the table that I guess I was at with Wyatt and Celeste.
Yeah. Wyatt does not seem to have noticed that you left. He's now holding a spoon.
If she is,
He's now holding a spoon, and you don't know where he got one.
if she is walking her like, as she was saying, like super feminine way, that will probably catch my attention because of the body shape versus how I normally see her walk. That's gonna like trigger something that's like that's not normal. And then I look up and I like look probably a little too long and then embarrassed back to my like coffee and back to my book.
Did you remember finally?
I'm sorry?
Did you remember it exists finally? And I'll like to the mug.
Yeah. No, I'm just just trying to figure out magic because it doesn't make sense to me. It's,
Celeste, you hear that.
He's trying to figure out magic. I mean, if you ever want, we could go through some of it. I feel like what you do has to be connected to it, too, to be honest. I mean, I know you tinker with things and create it, but I think it's interlaid together somehow.
The what I want to say versus what I would like to be polite around Celeste is fighting, so it'll be that would be really that would be nice. I appreciate it.
What do you
Thank
want to say?
Nope.
Thinks what he does
Trying
is
to be nice to
cooler.
Celeste.
Shit.
And Jeremy is muted. You're muted, bud.
Oh, Jeremy.
You know you're
continues to
muted,
be
and you just love
He
doing
knows
this.
that.
Got
Like,
it.
is Jeremy
What?
freezing again?
Yeah.
A bastard.
All right, so I actually think we're going to take an early break today, so that we can. The second half of this game is going to be very different than the first half. So
Is it gonna be Nutter Butters? Do I need to sit down?
I don't know. It all depends.
Okay.
No, it's gonna be super fine and very narrative, and then it's the end. We all
Yeah,
leave,
it's
and
good.
it's fine.
We're gonna win D&D tonight.
That's right.
Let's just skip ahead. Let's hand of God.
I'll leave you with this. Somebody shared this thing, which I thought was hilarious. It was Death calling his boss, and Death said, "Hey, boss, sorry, I'm a little bit late." And boss said, "What's going on?" He goes, "Well, you know how anybody can challenge me to a game, and if they win the game, they get to cheat death." He's like, yeah. He says, "Okay, so small problem." And then it goes to Death's location, and the guy goes, "Okay, so hold on a minute. I need to get another book." And then my roll 20, my D20 says that I did, and Death's going,
38 years later.
yeah. So,
Delightful.
I love it.
all right, guys. Thanks so much, and
Hey.
we will be back momentarily.
After these messages.
One. We are back. I am Groot. Don't sue me. Whoever owns that. Hi, everybody.
Our D&D friend, Vin Diesel.
He never calls me back.
Mr. Diesel?
What?
Oh, really? He texts me like every day.
Yeah, I have like
Jeez,
6
man.
unopened snaps.
Well,
Well, yeah.
maybe I'm too desperate.
I sent him a joke on like what I think one of the Fast and Furious like movies should be. That was Fast and Furious 7.
I like how like
Really funny
Jeff
for
is
somebody
just
who
saying
keeps up with
this
the
all
Fast and
like
Furious
lounging.
Okay, so much quicker than normal. Let's get back into the story. So, you guys have just, I won't say finished your breakfast because some of you are still struggling to eat. Some of you are in the middle of conversation, and some of you have the information you were seeking, and so you have left the smoking room of the Bookbinders Club. For those of you still at table, what are you guys doing? Are you still talking?
We've got until 10. We got a rendezvous there. Whatever else you'd like to get up to today. That's our schedule.
Did she mean 10 like in the evening or 10 in the morning? Because it's like 10 in the morning's like really soon.
10 at night.
Oh. Well, y'all gotta do.
Kind of like
Y'all got anything
just-
to do?
Well, there's a few things. Wyatt, do you still have the stuff that I left with you in your bag?
Of
I'd love
course.
to take a look at that.
That bag doesn't.
And honestly, if you guys don't think, I like look around to see if anyone's like listening, or could overhear me at all. John?
Look around, make a perception check.
Oh, I was on it. 9.
I mean, there's some staff in the room, a couple other people. I don't think anybody can hear you.
Well, so I lean in and I'm like, I'd really like to send Astra out just over the city so we can get kind of a lay of it. Not that I don't trust Sebastian, but I don't want to have to trust Sebastian. So I think it might be good if maybe I could build sort of a map of the general area through Astra's eyes of the city. We could figure out where the market is. We could figure out where different safe havens potentially are. We could figure out where the Magic University is. Stuff like that. What do you think? Or do you think it's too
Maybe.
risky for me to do that?
Maybe send her something with wings.
That's what I was thinking too.
Spider doesn't have very long stride.
No. But hawks. Hawks have great vision.
Yeah.
You need somebody to keep an eye on you while that happens.
That, or maybe if Wyatt wants to set up a little contraption, if you have things to do. Either way.
Wyatt, not. But it kind of looks like you were going to try to keep unlocking the mysteries of the universe today.
I'm up for alternatives. I think this is just something to do. I don't like this city at all. I mean, it's pretty and shit, but this makes me uncomfortable. So I was literally drugged and kidnapped in a carpet to get here, and this city kind of sucks. So not the most comfortable just wandering around. I'm scared I'm gonna blow something up. So I'm up for alternatives, but I mean, I don't think it's a day wasted just reading here.
Well, if you want to just read, maybe you want to just read in the room with me while I scout.
Sure. What are you planning on doing? I know you can handle yourself, but it would make me feel more comfortable if you didn't go alone or just someone had your back, you know.
I suppose I could camp out too.
If you want to do something, I could set up some alarm systems or some traps or something for Miss Celeste while she's in her room. You know, some
Rolodex of
bear
all the
traps,
times
some bass traps, and
the Rolodex of all the times that Celeste has like accidentally tripped over things kind of plays all at once in my mind. No, Wyatt, I think it's best that we don't separate ourselves from each other. Sebastian's got that in hand anyway.
yeah. And I also don't think it'll take too long to be a hawk cartographer.
Celeste, I do want to say that technically, by the rules of the spell, every time you change it, you have to recast it to change it into a different form, and that costs 10 gold pieces worth of material components.
So much! Okay.
I was wondering
Okay.
if this was ever
So
going to come
she
to
currently
play.
is
Yeah.
a spider. Fair. Fair.
You know, I expect
Okay.
you guys to be honest and forthright with this stuff, but I will have to keep on top of it.
The wizard?
Read shit real well. I just
Leader
glanced
is
at it and I'm like,
notorious.
great, cool. I'm God. Move on.
Hit for
Look-
spell components. Notorious.
Low-key cheater. I don't know what you're talking about, Miller.
Got my mouth shut
Okay.
on that one, though.
You did, I'm impressed. I didn't even know it, though. Okay, cool. Well, we maybe don't want to waste our money doing that, then.
Got some dogs.
I think it could be useful to explore the city, figure out where because I really want to find out where this mage's school is, because I would love to go pay a little visit. Alright,
If the astral route
So I'll
is
spend-
no longer available to us, we got go get our own eyes on it or find a map from
we
someone.
could. I mean, honestly, I would love to figure out how to enroll, or how, like, what it takes, like, what it means to be a quote-unquote wizard here.
Do you
I don't
say
know if
this
it's something you're
out
interested
loud?
in, Wyatt, or if you just...
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'll kind of lean in a little bit and be like, didn't Bass say something about like you go to the wizard school if you get kidnapped? Isn't that right? Like, isn't because they kidnap people that do the pole, you know? Do they not? So I feel like going there and being like,
Legitimately
"Hi,
not
I'm
remember.
interested," is a great way to get the.
Rolled into a rug?
I mean, I think we wanna.
I'm gonna like look around and see if anyone's like paying attention, John,
Make a perception check.
because I am uncomfortable right now. The tension is killing me.
Did you make a perception check?
That is a 7 plus 1. That's an 8.
So, you look around, and the few people in this room seem to be looking at their breakfast, and I don't think so.
I'm just gonna like Celeste. Maybe we should talk about that. We should just
Or absolutely.
I think Wyatt's got a point, even if, and to tell the truth, I probably wasn't listening to Sebastian at the time, but We might want to keep a low profile, so maybe inquiring about enrollment is off the table, but I don't know that there's any harm in going to take a look at it. If you really need to stretch your legs.
Maybe let's step into my room for a minute. So I head back to my room to like have a more quiet chat. Wyatt, do you mind fetching those books that I loaned you? That I
Oh
put
yeah,
in the
and
bag?
I'll hand her the bag, and I have like a stack of books in my hand from downstairs that I brought up with me, and I'm gonna sit on the floor and start
Reach
reading
in.
those. She does her thing.
Do I have any idea the way this bag works? Can I get shit out of it?
For the sake of expediency, I'm going to say, sure, you reach in there and you immediately pull out the
Great.
books that you're looking for.
Great. Those, and I want to go ahead and take out the ring. And be like, I feel like... So these books... I don't think I showed you these before, but I found them on... the person, the woman who seemed to have potentially summoned that creature from the depths of the ocean. And they're all in ancient script that I can't read, and as far as I knew nobody else could. But I feel like if we have a chance to translate them or find out this might be the city who can do it. But it could also be dangerous.
I agree with your assessment that this could potentially be really good information, but this city is absolutely dangerous. If I remember correctly, Bass saying that people that use magic just disappear.
True.
So
Maybe he would know someone who's like in an underground aspect of the city. Because if there's this much magic in the city, no matter how much they try to control it, surely there's people out there. Yes, OGM?
It's not technically what he said that you remember. He says if people from Delaware find you outside of Delaware using magic, you disappear.
So people can just walk around using magic in the city. Like, we've seen that then.
You saw a levitating carriage. You've seen floating
Just
lanterns.
assumed those people had, like, paperwork.
But they can have permits, bruh. You know, like, we don't have permits.
So
we don't have driver's license.
My point is, you don't know the rules. You don't know exactly how it works, but you have seen evidence of magic here, including impossibly tall buildings. So there's something going on here that magic is out in the open, but you don't know how. You don't know the rules of it. You don't know how it's allowed. But outside of the city, they hate anyone using magic.
The rules of magic, whatever. Also, like, the buildings, I don't think those are magic personally, because we just saw a like perfectly shaped stone bridge with no seams just a little while ago. So that doesn't like that to me doesn't scream like magic.
Probably
Correct.
Impossible without magic.
Or at least like from potentially my character.
Like the Dragonspan Bridge in Althandis,
Interesting.
impossible without magic. Like
Sure.
like just like the physics that you and I understand from this world, the damn thing would fall. Right?
Copy. Okay.
There is a deeper level of physics, a magical physics that pervades some of these great structures that you've seen.
Okay, copy. Why don't we have Astra?
Maybe we should ask.
We'll see what we find.
Okay, let's start with that, and then... Do you know where Sebastian went?
That was going to be my point, is if Sebastian ever deigns to reward us with his presence again today, we might want to call on one of his assistants, one of his friends, somebody.
What I was thinking as well. Someone who knows the city more, because I feel a little bit like I'm just, I don't know, making up rules as I go.
Alright, that's a good point to say, hey Sebastian, what are you doing?
I'm gonna go back to the Willing Mask. Make my way over there about midday.
Okay, so they're still having this conversation, and you've left, and you've been gone for 10 minutes.
Great. So continue doing what I'm doing, or no?
So you said you left the room they were in, and now you're
And
telling
I'm
me. Now you tell me what you're doing 2 hours from now. What are you doing in the 2-hour gap between that point?
Oh, you're saying it's 10 o'clock,
Yeah.
and I am looking to go there for midday. I'm just kind of wandering around the city.
Okay. All right. So Sebastian, you don't know where he is. He does not show up magically when you wonder about him. Are at least normal to this part of the continent of Dane.
Okay. So I spend a little time, like, closing my eyes and reaching out to the plane. And I reach out to talk to Astra. Astra? I want you to be my eyes in this city. I'm going to turn you into a creature that can see sharp and fly quickly. Will you help me?
Of course.
Thanks. So I pluck her and get her to, like, appear on my arm as this gorgeous, I'm sure, golden-tailed or whatever it's called, hawk.
Golden-winged hawk, and to the rest of you, it looks like all of a sudden this bird flaps and like from just behind where Celeste is sitting, and like flaps its wings and then comes and lands, and it's pretty large for a hawk. It's almost like eagle-sized, with these kind of shimmering golden wings that end in black tips, and the rest of the body is this kind of sleek brown.
My hat?
I get real excited and I stand up and get like pretty close, and then I look at Celeste and then look at Asher and back and forth and be like, may I? I don't know who I should ask permission
and,
from.
like, Astra, it's up to you if you would like to.
She cranes her head towards you.
I will like politely like stroke it once, and then get out this thing that looks like halfway between like a magnifying glass, but also like a monocle, like and I'd be like super interested in how this thing just poofed into, and I'll like ask her, or like maybe even like gently nudge her wing out to see if she'll spread, and I'll like kind of measure her wing, and I'm just super fascinated. So I'm like, she said she said it's okay, and at some point it's probably like I'm probably bugging her, but I'm fascinated.
Anatomically, she looks like an appropriately sized bird.
Take her to the window. Set her free. Sit myself in a chair, close my eyes, and reach out to her to look through her eyes.
Okay. Your vision switches through that, like, you close your eyes and you see the darkness, and then the darkness gets deeper where all the light that filters through your eyelids disappears, and then suddenly you jump into the vision of a soaring creature where you see the sky below you falling away from you as you rise up higher and higher, and there's a now familiar sickening lurch as you kind of get used to that change in perspective, but you do get used to it, and she spirals up and then glides over the city. She kind of stays just in range so that you can stay connected to her, and looks out over, and I've given you all a map. That should be what you're looking at now on Roll20.
Yeah.
And so you can see the neighborhood called Incania, with this blue stone material that most of the neighborhood is made from. To the south, you see the Rain Square with the large statue below you, and then farther south, you see the docks and the market. To the east, you see a very thick, long line of residential areas all the way over to the walls in the distance. And then to the north and the northeast, that's where you see all those towers. And like, she can't even get high enough and stay connected to you to be as tall as them.
Right.
So, one thing that she notices that you never noticed is that there are what look almost like boats that are flying between them.
Oh.
You can see they're like these little, they look almost like balconies, but they're docks. And she can see people in them. Very small, but people in them as they're riding between these massive towers. Then she looks to the west, and there's another wall, an inner wall of this city. And that wall is much more modest and much older. It is gray stone. It is not fancy. It's probably 20 feet tall. And beyond it, you see older blocks of housing, still grand in their own way, but most of them are made from smaller building materials. They are made of a more humble type of stone. And then you see that huge building that you saw that looked almost like a cathedral in the center of this, and there's a large lawn that extends beyond it and goes all the way to the entrance past this wall. But the big thing that sticks out for you that you didn't notice before is you see 4 towers. You see 2 in the southern part of this enclosed area and 2 in the northern part. And these towers each rise about 40, 50, 60 feet tall. They're broad structures too, that more than just a few rooms on each level. And they seem to be kind of like areas of activity. You see, Astra looks down, and through her eyes you can see people milling about out in front of them, going in and out. Lots of traffic seems to go into and out of these towers. And then directly to the north of you, past the Incanian neighborhood, you see a huge building that you did not notice before, that is kind of arranged around this gigantic, it's too many facets to be a pyramid, but it's almost a pyramidal type structure. But the entire building is set in an octagon. And there is statuary out front, and you can see the doors to this structure are closed, but it's surrounded by some sort of a gardened park. And that's what she sees when she looks around. Far to the southeast, you can't really see because those are the lowest buildings in the city.
Okay. So I'll bring her back and kind of come to and relay to Diz and Wyatt kind of what I saw. And then I want to grab my notebook, and as I'm describing it to them, I want to draw it out as best I can while it's fresh in my mind, so that we have some sort of a map of the city,
Okay.
Just in case. You know what I realized? This might be our last couple hours of autonomy. Is there anything we want to go and do? Selfishly, I want to find people who can help us look at these books. I want to find more about magic. This is the first city I've ever seen that it wasn't just immediately oppressed. But is there anything that you two want to do?
Nothing I want to do is here, Celeste. I wish we could go find Sebastian, and maybe he could point you in the direction of somebody who could read those books for you.
It would be useful, wouldn't it? And I'm sorry, I'm blinking. What happened to Mira? Where did she go?
Last you saw, she was downstairs writing.
Okay, so she's just downstairs. Okay. Well, Mira's not my favorite contact, but maybe I talk to her a little bit.
John, is that actually? It was ancient Volian. It's written in, or Vol.
Those books are written in Draconic.
Draconic. Okay. And do we know if it's like taboo to talk about that even, or is that something that like, if I went around and was like, do we? Is there a scholar that we know of? Or is that like a? Would why think that's like a potential like red flag?
Dude, you've never even heard of anybody that could read Draconic. I don't even know if you guys know what that is. I mean, like,
Copy.
Fold, right?
yeah, but you don't know that.
Okay.
You know what I mean? The only
Well,
one who would have any idea is Celeste.
Yeah, I thought she said
Copy.
that.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Diz.
Alright.
I'm
Well,
not.
I'll go find her and...
Go ahead, Diz.
Yeah.
Before you do that, I'm not famed for my bright ideas. Seems to me it might
disagree.
be easier. And I don't know if this is possible. It seems to me it might be easier instead of going to track down someone who can read those. Finding someone who can make it so you can read anything. If this is a city where
Actually, a great
anything's
idea.
happening.
No, absolutely. I mean, one of the spells that I had been studying and trying to grasp would allow me to read those things, and it's not something that I yet can comprehend, but I bet someone in the city would be able to.
That is something that can
That's a
happen, though.
very good point.
Huh.
Yes. It's incredible. It's like, if it's written language, you can comprehend it as you read it.
I just look really impressed with myself for a second.
Yeah.
Just something to keep
Well,
in
has a
mind.
very interesting look at this.
I mean, surely, if all this magic is around here, surely they're like, you know how in the marketplace and stuff back home, or my home, you could go to a scribe and they would write a letter if you were illiterate, right? So maybe there's something similar to that in the city, where you could go there and if you're not literate in magic, maybe they could cast it. And maybe we could do some shopping at the same time.
I think that's a great idea. I need to go find a live rat or rabbit. So let's go. I mean,
Alright, I'm not
Yes,
gonna ask.
let's.
Let's go.
Asher's gonna be hungry when she gets back. Duh.
It's a very good point.
Wyatt, let's go.
On that note, you guys
You
leave.
did a great job.
Where do you guys go?
Back to that big market that we passed last night.
Yeah.
Okay.
On the way out, I want to stop by Mira's table,
Sure. She's still there.
and sit down with her for a second. I wanted to ask you, I know that I've been warned not to use any of my problematic powers.
Magic.
Is that an issue in this city?
Oh, as long as it's not offensive.
I'm not going to go blow up any boats
That's
or
good.
people.
That's good. I know it all depends on what you do. It's kind of like it's not illegal to have a weapon or a pistol, but you can't go stabbing or shooting someone.
But I don't need paperwork for this weapon or pistol.
Say you're with one of the schools, or you are with one of the schools, and you decided to take the practical path. That's the terminology they use. The reasonable path stays inside the college, it stays inside the school. The practical path goes into business. So you could say you briefly went to, I don't really know what flavor of magic you like. So just pick one. Do you know the house? Oh, this is getting terribly complicated. There's the House of Truth, the House of Life, the House of Being, the House of Fate. Pick any of them. And say you attended briefly one of them.
Thank you. That's incredibly useful.
I surprise even
You'll be able to
myself. Okay, so you guys pop out the door. Where you head? Down
Well-
to the Bendarian Plaza?
While she was talking to Mira, I was going to talk to the bartender and just say, is there a place where I could potentially pick up some things of like magical nature? I'm fascinated by all this. This is not where I come from, and it's amazing some of the things I've seen. Are some of these things for sale, and if so, where?
Of course, actually. I'm so sorry. Sometimes it's still surprising when newcomers experience our city. Yes, there's magical supplies and reagents and alchemical wares, and I mean, are you looking for purely magical components? Are you looking for alchemical goods? Are you what?
Yes.
Well, maybe try Telmani Humors on Old Incania Street.
Humors?
Yes. Telmani Humors. It's kind of a joke. It's just at the southern end of the very square that you see outside.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you.
And if you need a larger supply, then definitely go to Hark and Quester. It's the largest building in the entire market. You can't miss it. There's a ship coming out of it.
Thank you so much.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll relay that to the ladies. You want
There's
to
a
check out
ship coming
Telmani's
out.
first? Yeah, that's what he said. I don't
Sounds
know what
good
that
to
meant. I don't think we're close to the water, but there may be like an inlet or something.
Water?
And if it matters, I made sure not to dress too fancy today. Just very
Okay.
sensible and smart. I look very well put together, but not decadent. Almost the way the way if you're truly wealthy, you don't show it off.
Okay. There you go.
Changed into something a little bit less fancy when we went back to do Celeste maneuvers.
All right.
I'm still in my dress, but with the jacket on top.
And as you guys walk around, you get a little bit better of a sense of where that style comes from, because you do notice, and you'd seen it before, but now that you are getting more used to it, you see groups of people that are wearing robes, and some of the robes are almost more dress-like. They're lower, they're divided, they're fitting. They're not just these big baggy garments. And you see groups of people, and they're all wearing the same colors. Some of the robes, you'll see a group of people all wearing silver robes. You'll see another group of people all wearing gold. One group's in purple and one group's in blue. but you don't see colors outside of that in these groups. And many of the people are either in the same age groups or they're wearing the same cut of robe. So you make your way south through this the Rain Square, and you judge by what this gentleman told you, and you see there's a street, kind of a side street, excuse me, that gets south from the square, and there's a bunch of like street vendors that all have like maps and scrolls, and most of them seem to be junk or places that you've never seen before. But then you see like a 4-story stone and timber building that has a very severe looking kind of cartoonish man, and there's a little bubble next to it, and it just says "Ha."
I think we found it.
I think
My
maybe.
keen sense.
Yeah. I feel like we might like this place.
All right, so you guys make your way inside.
Dip on
If it's
in.
like those, is it like big like wooden doors? Like what are we talking here?
Yeah, like large.
I'm gonna try to open it and probably fail, and so then I'll let Diz open it for me.
You can get it open.
I'm
It's okay.
assuming
You pull
I
it
can get
open.
open. Okay, then I'll open the door for him.
Just to say this, John, while we're out in the city the whole time, I'm scanning to try to find Sebastian, because I think he could actually be useful. Bless your heart, Jeremy.
Make an
in this city during
investigation
this
check.
time. Okay.
Jeremy probably didn't know he'd be leaving the game for the entire time when he walked off. So he's like, I hate everybody here. What does it say?
Well,
16.
we're going shopping, so he's like, I'm gone.
Yeah. So my investigation was a 16.
I'll let you decide. Do they
I
see
should
you or
have
not?
looked for.
That's high
I should have
enough.
looked for him with my fucking hawk.
I'm in Great Bridge.
Then no, you did not see him.
You pain in the ass. Jeremy just didn't want to play tonight. It's fine. I
Well,
get it.
no, he thought we were probably going to go through this a little faster, but yeah, this is absolutely fine. So we are. That is not me saying why aren't you guys doing what I want you to do. You're doing exactly what I want you to do. This is awesome.
No, it was Jeremy's face right after you said that.
Okay, so you open the doors, and the first thing you notice is you can't see anything because there's this curtain of plant life in front of you. There are these tendrils of vines that come down, and they're thick, and you actually have to kind of like part them and walk inside of this place, and you immediately just get this whiff of like a cacophony of scents. You look up and there is a massive alchemical rig all along one wall, and there are several places where little drops drip from openings inside of this rig into different vials, and each vial has a different color. The rest of the shop is, if there was a bookstore for vials of liquid, that's what this would be. You see, it's like you know those little things that hold test tubes, right? Imagine a bookshelf of those with several
a test tube rack,
those things.
like a
If
test
you
tube
will.
rack.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, chemist. The writer is trying to say, those things that got the, that's it. So several shelves of those. They're all made of wood, and they all look fairly old, but they all have different liquids with some scribbles next to them. And you see this like short, kind of slightly hunched male human, old, bald patch, kind of grayish hair, and he's behind a counter, and he's like flipping through a book, and he's got like a pile of some sort of leaves, and then he'll idly start chopping them as he's looking at the book, and then he looks up. Oh, yeah. What do we got here? Hold on a minute. It's probably fine.
I love him.
So, what can I help you with?
Yeah. So I have a question, a couple of questions. I look at Wyatt to see if he wants to do like any shopping or anything like that first. So, I suddenly am like a little bit shy and kind of blushing and feel like suddenly entirely out of my element. My first question, and I take out the ring that I found and I kind of like roll it in my hand and I set it gently on the counter, but like not out of my reach. That I couldn't like grasp it away.
You need to put that on. Don't I can't buy that. You crazy? No. I know you need to put that on.
I wasn't gonna sell it.
No. You.
But I take from your expression, you know what it is?
It's a joke. You people from the reserve are always so as ha ha ha. Yeah, the shop is a joke. It's a joke. But like that's not funny. Just put your being, House of Being. Okay, great. But just put it on.
Or Wyatt. And I'm like, didn't we come here so you could stock up?
I thought we were trying to figure out who can read the damn thing. Are we not? Are we?
Actually, studied in the House of Fate. What can you tell me about this ring? And I'm sorry.
They give
I
you
don't
the wrong.
think you're a joke.
They give you the wrong ring.
I think you're.
This ring, that's from the House of Being. It show they give it to you when you're in the House of Being. Yeah. You should know that.
I mean, of course.
Are you on drugs?
Maybe.
Love potion. You here for love potions? That's what it is? I tell you what. Everybody said, oh yeah, you make a lot of money. But it's not worth it. It's not worth it. So, which one? For him or her? I don't want to know. So, love potion 150.
I'll give him my
Potion
list of
number 9?
ingredients that I need.
Oh.
If you don't mind.
It's his
Thank you.
His ring. Hold on. His ring. House of Being. Yeah?
Yes, it's his ring is the House of Being. And I'm very new to the school.
Well, yeah, obviously.
And I was told that you were discreet. I mean, obviously. Please don't embarrass me more than I already am. And I like turn beet red almost on command, right?
The love potion mistake. Okay. Look, I can get your boyfriend's fiance, whatever. I don't know. I can get his stuff.
Of course, I'll need to be returning this to him. It would be bad if I put this on, right? If I'm not in the House of Being?
Yes.
It would do...
What? Are you Tomani? You don't sound like it.
Fuck.
Where are you from?
If I can illuminate what's been going on here.
Jesus. Talk about a voice.
This young lady took a little bit of a tumble last night and hit her head really hard. That's a little bit what his grocery list was for. He's just trying to whip something up that's going to make her feel a little better.
But that's not true. That's not what any of these ingredients do. Well, this one and this one and this one, but not these.
Okay, well, clearly he's going to restock on other things then.
Okay, so, well, hey, you know what? I don't want to know. Wait, okay, so he can buy this stuff right here. 25 gold, I think, should cover the all this stuff. But, do you want a love potion?
No.
Is this
Is that what you specialize in?
No. Why? This
Do you want a love potion?
I wish. But, you know, I can help. I can help. So, give him his ring back. It'll resize, back to normal man hand. He's got kind of delicate hands. But give it back.
Sure.
But if you are in the house of fate, you don't dress like it. You don't have the ring. I don't know. I don't believe it.
I'm hoping to get in it. I was in it for a time. I've left, and I would like to return to it.
Good luck with that.
Thank you.
All right. This all you want?
Yes, please. Yes. Yes.
Great. And he just turns his back and walks into the back room. And you hear...
So as soon
Okay,
as
huddle time.
White finishes getting all this shit... Okay, goes in the back room. Okay, obviously there's so much stuff we want to know. I say that we get him to tell us, or we find someone to get to tell us, if you know what I mean.
I don't. I'm standing in front of both of them.
This is one of the things.
Like, as disappointed as possible. And I'm just like, we're supposed to be blending in.
Super blendy! Okay, so what if I suggest, wink wink, nudge nudge, that we're very new to the area and that the school sent us for him to tell us all about the rings because he's the best knowledge there is in the city. There's obviously stuff we don't know.
I'm gonna point you, and I look around at all the alchemical
didn't we
supplies.
just...
I think we might be better off asking somebody who specializes in stuff, and then I point at the ring, like that.
I want to put it on.
I feel like that's a terrible idea. I feel like that's a really terrible idea. You should probably give it to me instead.
Let's see.
Agreed. And to the suggest thing, didn't she just say not to use offensive shit? And isn't that one of those
you think that's
offensive shit?
It's one that they never know
it's to
that
someone.
I cast it.
All right, at this time he comes back
But they
out.
don't know that I did it.
He comes back out with a bag of materials, and he says, "All right, so this is gonna do what you want. Oh, that should not be together. Hold on." And he reaches in there, grabs a bunch of dried herbs. It looks like, and he's like, and he divides them, and then he puts that in a smaller pouch, and he's like, And he puts it back on the counter and says, "All right, 25 gold."
That's pretty expensive for just some refills on some things.
Man, you're both just so new to the city, aren't you?
Inside check.
Sorry?
Can I make an inside check?
Absolutely.
Is he trying to scam my friends?
What'd you get?
I didn't even roll yet. That's
Just
another
worried about it
natural
being
20.
scammed.
I mean, he's definitely, he doesn't seem like he's being completely forthcoming, but it's also not like, he's not telling you that the sky is pink.
Barn, you said 20 gold before.
Nah, 25 gold, that's what I said. I have a very good memory. I'm famous for it.
What's he famous for?
That's not really any of your business. Potions.
You brought it up.
Yeah, making potions. Look at that. Yeah, that's a joke. That's the real joke. Yeah.
I mean, love potions, obviously you're famous for.
If you just keep bringing it up.
Don't!
I feel like you're bringing it. You bring up a lot of things and then say we bring it up, and I'm very confused by how you speak, sir.
I don't understand how either one of you got into college, but it's not my problem. So 25 gold.
Wyatt, I can't cover the whole thing.
No, I got it. Not a big deal. I'll give him 25 gold.
Okay. Make a perception check really quick, Wyatt.
That is a natural 20 for a 21.
You glance down at the stuff, like you open the bag and look at it. Everything he gave you is like the purest, the best condition, the most ripe, whatever the best of any kind of ingredient for what you're trying to do is. That's what's in this bag.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's
I
like
misjudged him.
it's like everything that picked at under the right moon, whatever it is. Everything is
Good
Hell
shit.
yeah.
You've never seen anything
Good
like
shit.
it. You've never seen anything like it.
Yeah. I get real excited.
Okay.
And really, actually, this looks great. I appreciate it. And real quick, there's some books that I was given to study for, and I don't understand them. They're written in a language I don't understand. Do you know of anyone that I can buy? I know people can cast spells for you, and you can pay for that. Do you know of anyone that can help me read languages I don't understand?
Hell, we need a lot of help because it's impressive we ever got into the university.
You're trying to read a spell book.
I have lots of homework.
Yeah.
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 It's
Well,
tough.
yeah.
It's
That
tough.
and yeah.
I mean, there's always some, young kid that's trying to make an extra gold or two. That's up at the reserve. So, you try there. I don't know. Or you just go show a little bit of ankle or something, and maybe see if somebody help you out.
I'll try to show somebody ankle. All right, thank you. This is a good talk. All right.
Spell you could cast?
Did she not see what's in this shop? It's like
In her head, I think she went blind also.
I'll go.
And I'm just gonna
Thank
forcibly
you.
pick Celeste and steer her out of the shop.
hey,
But I have so many questions!
hold on.
It's good.
Go to Arcanian Books and Mercantile. Yeah.
Thank you.
I mean, I hate that bitch, but yeah,
Holy shit.
she could probably help you out.
Well, you are clearly incredibly fair and have quality merchandise. Is there any suggestion you can
See?
make sure that we can do to get her on our side? Okay, thank
This is-
you.
Thank you for finally understanding. I've been telling everybody. So, all right. Hey, good luck.
Live rat. All right, never mind. Bye.
Don't tell
All
any.
right.
Yeah. You guys walk out.
We leave.
I have
I'm gonna
I have
look.
so many questions. I'm so excited, but I also have no idea what's happening.
I need you to know that your life just flashed before my eyes. It was really boring, Celeste. I would like to keep it that way.
I take out the ring really reluctantly, and I hold
Put
it
that
in
away.
front of me, and I'm like,
We don't know what it means. Keep it in your pocket. Do not put it on.
Nope.
Nope.
Nope. Yep.
let's go.
I offer the
Fine.
bag. Offer the bag.
Put it in the bag.
Put in the bag.
Put it in the bag. I put it in the bag. Why does no one ever let me have any fun?
I mean, I'm the paradigm of impulse control, but have you noticed anytime we go shopping, shit like this happens? We are not good at this.
About I take
I
out
think
my fan
I-
and I'm
I-
like,
I
look how
nominate this.
beautiful it is.
I nominate Diz do all the talking next time because I think she does better than us.
I
I
take
don't
out
think
my
that's true.
flask
I don't think
and
anyone.
I drink half my flask in one pull.
All right, where are you guys going?
Where are we going?
A little persuasion here. Okay.
Arcane books and mercantile. It seems like.
Arcanian
That-
Books
bitch.
and Mercantile. All right, so you guys head north to Arcanian Way and turn west. You go about a block in, and you see the gate to go into the last reserve. You see the guards in front of it are just wearing robes. And there seems to be an assortment of different kinds of robes, and then most of them are just kind of standing there. They look alert, but every once in a while they'll have a conversation with each other. Doesn't seem to be. It's the strangest guard situation you've ever seen. I mean, it doesn't look that menacing at all, or that intimidating. But then you turn.
That scares me more.
Go ahead.
Does it look like we could just walk?
That scares me
through here?
Uh,
more.
That's what it looks like. Yeah, but before you get to the gate itself, you look, and there's another tall building amongst all the other tall buildings. It's a 5-story building. It's kind of half timber, half stone. It's got a very thick reinforced wooden door, and remember the skull that you found in the drawer of that desk? It's like a small
I do.
dragon skull.
That we're still sad we didn't get? Yeah.
There's one that looks very similar to that hanging over the doorway of the building, and that's what he told you to look for. All right, so you guys walk in.
All right.
As we're going, I want to kind of keep my eye out to see if people are wearing rings. That's, I think, part of the schools.
Make a perception check.
That is a 14.
Do you know what? Yes, you have noticed it.
Okay.
Anyone wearing robes also has a ring that looks very similar to that, and the stone matches the color of the robe.
Okay. Cool.
You guys go inside, and it is very different. Everything is perfectly neat, perfectly arranged, tall, graceful. Like they all look like a master craftsman made the shelves that you see inside of here. You see a couple of what you assume to be are employees walking around in white robes that are dusting meticulously and cleaning. You see a few people in robes of silver and blue that are chatting and flipping through books and scrolls, and it's just a very open, perfect, vibrant store. There's a long desk at the back where you see two people talking. One person in kind of almost like golden robes, and very slender half elf, and he's got jewelry on and earrings, and he's chatting with a much shorter human woman who is looking at him with kind of a pained, patient expression.
Right. We're here because you want to figure out if there's anybody here who can read that book, or we're being nosy about the ring. I'm getting mixed.
We'll start with the book. We'll start.
Right. Okay. I will approach the counter.
We'll start with the book, and the main thing is that we don't want to find out if anyone can read the book. We want to find out if anyone can cast a spell so I can read the book. If you need some help, I can be very persuasive. If I'm not putting my foot in my mouth.
I will go up to the counter.
Okay. You walk up, and their conversation stops, and he turns and looks at you. Yes?
Pardon me for interrupting, I'm so sorry. We were wondering if maybe you might be able to assist our friend. She was on the receiving end of a little bit of a homework assignment gone a little awry, and she finds that she's unable to read something that she really needs to read now.
Interesting. Certainly. So, you need a little arcane assistance, is that what it is?
Yes, please.
Well, I have a scroll of tongues around here somewhere.
takes Diz a
Try
second
not
to realize that
too
he
eager.
means, like, tongues like languages, and not like he has a scroll made
not-
out of tongues.
Well, it's also made out of the skin of a tongue.
That sounds very useful, thank you.
And if you will just, and he leans back against the wall behind him.
Right.
And starts
then
snoring.
I turn to the woman who is next to him.
He just ignores her and just goes to sleep?
Sorry about that. It's a curse. Okay, so you were looking for a scroll of tongues?
Please.
Yeah, no problem. I'll go get it. And she darts off, comes back momentarily, has a scroll made out of blue paper. It's about that long. She shuts this down. She says, okay, that'll be about 50 gold. And then you see her, she like reaches over and catches his sleeve as he starts to slide off like the wall and like pulls him back.
Sleepy time. I don't have 50 gold, so I kind of look expectantly at Celeste.
Absolutely. Is there any way that there's some sort of university discount? I find 50 gold to be fairly steep for my pockets right now.
Oh, you're being serious? Oh, no. I'm sorry.
Any way I can roll a persuasion check?
Well, typically you're not actually from the reserve, are you? Because they have the library.
True. Which means 50 gold is even harder for me.
I'm sorry, but we're the finest bookstore in the entire city and in the most famous place for bookstores in the world. These are our prices.
Of course.
I will just take out 50 gold and put it on the counter.
Thank you.
Now, Celeste feels bad because she has it. She just wanted to get a good deal.
She swipes it away.
But John doesn't let me roll persuasion ever. Okay.
You're in the most expensive city on the planet.
Get it.
They don't haggle. They don't care. So
But
in
I'm
other
so
situations,
charming.
I will absolutely let you be doing stuff like that. I promise you.
So sure.
All right. So she gives you the scroll.
Tuck it into my pocket.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Step outside and huddle? Alright. No?
I feel like certain people are meant to have those rings, and we might not be one of them. So we might not want to push our luck.
Agreed.
You don't want to find out why or how those rings are connected to things or what they do to these schools?
So
I feel like
Well,
about that time, Sebastian, it is past noon now. You are in the neighborhood that you wanted to be in. Is there anything you want to do?
Yeah, so for the 2 hours before noon, I just wanted to go to Great Bridge, go around the old places, and see if there's like a new generation of layabouts and scoundrel children, and see what the deal is down there. Just kind of like hang back and watch for a couple of hours.
There always are, right? There's always new kids on the street. They're doing pretty much the same things that you did.
Just kind of watch for a while, and find one in particular. And, somebody that strikes a chord or pulls a string in some particular way.
Okay.
And then I will go up to them and say, or just like, so what do they do? Like, give me.
So you see some kids that look like they're playing just in an alley. You see some kids that are like, they're playing some game with a ball. It's similar to a game you played when you were a kid, but it looks different. And they're like running through the busy streets and the crowds are, and it's crowded. It's compact down here. The roads are narrower. The buildings are shorter. They're like 3 stories to 5 stories. And the roads aren't half of the roads aren't paved at all. Things like that. But you also notice that once, if you watch for a while, they will congregate with each other and laugh. And at first, to the untrained eye, it looks like they're just joking about the game they're playing, but they're showing each other stuff, and it's what they pickpocketed from the crowd as they've been running through while playing this game.
I pick out the one that's like maybe maternal or paternal. It's like taking care of the rest of them or taking care of somebody. And I'll go up to that person when it seems like an opportune moment, if there is one, in the 2 hours. And you from around here?
I'm not telling you.
I used to live here.
Yeah, sure, Mr. Fancy.
We all go somewhere, and sometimes we make it. Sometimes we don't. I used to live right around the corner there.
Okay.
A little nest. Anyway, just kind of like look at him or her. I assume from the voice it's a him.
Yeah.
And I'll just take out 20 gold and say, there's a lady who used to live around here who works at a place up the road a little while with a mirror mask. Her name's Alabaster. Give her this money and maybe she can help her out.
Are you serious?
Yeah, just don't go spending it in some
He
stupid.
takes it and just runs.
Alright, there it goes. Okay.
And
Later.
like runs, and someone walks in front of him and he's gone. Right? Like it's just. And right when you turn away from that, there's someone like standing at your shoulder. And you didn't notice them at all. They are looking at you, and you don't recognize them, right? Like the features are half elven, but dark skin, white hair.
Are they bulky?
No, slim. And he crosses his arms, and as he does, his cloak falls a little bit looser around him. And he says, awfully generous of you. And you recognize the voice, but he looks completely different. It sounds like Borealan, the organization member that was the human man that you saw previously.
Oh, the nondescript guy.
Mm-hmm.
Great. Can I help you with something?
No, I'm here to help you. You see, there is someone in the city who has taken an interest in you, and it might behoove you and your friends to stay off the streets until our business is concluded.
Just a single person, or is it a group of people?
Who can say?
Well, you could.
We are not a monolithic entity.
Bulky. Yay tall.
This is your city too. Perhaps you've angered someone. I'm not sure. I simply heard, and it affects my dealings and the dealings of my business.
Yeah, it seems like you might have a vested interest in keeping us the way we are. Seems like you cut a pretty good deal with the REE. Maybe you want to do something about it.
His eyes never leave yours, and he says, "Could be better."
I don't think it really could, but that's none of my business.
Not yet.
Well, you'll be around, I'm sure.
Go back. I'll see you tonight. And get your friends. They're sitting ducks out here.
You should be watching them too.
He shakes his head and turns, and as he turns he says, "Who says we aren't?" And then he walks around a corner.
Cool. At noon, I will go to the Willing Mask.
So you're not going to go tell your friends that this guy just said someone is looking for all of you?
I assume they're at the inn.
Okay. That's right. Yes, you would.
So, the Willing Mask is on the way back. And if I went back to the inn, had I meta knowledge, I would go to the inn and they would not be there.
The Willing Mask is halfway between the Bookbinders Club.
Cool. Heading there.
Sorry. Alright. You get to
Go
the
there,
Willing Mask?
do that. Okay, great. Get there. Go into the back, look for Alabaster. Is she there?
Nope.
Inquire as to if anyone knows where she would be this time of day. In a non-threatening and kind way.
You're asking an effeminate man. He kind of, she's working. She probably will be done soon. If you're interested in maybe a different experience, I'm sure I could show you around.
He's an old friend of mine. I'm just trying to.
Old
get
friends are the
over.
best.
That's right. Could you direct me to her place of employment?
Why don't you go have a drink at the bar and she'll be right with you.
Perfect. Go do that.
Alright. It's not long. She sits down next to you.
Hi. Sorry if I'm interrupting something.
No. I was doing my job. What do you need?
Do I get the impression that she does the same job as my mother?
Yes.
Okay, great. So I didn't want to be obtuse about that, but I thought that that's the same thing.
Everyone's being pretty obvious about it.
Yeah,
So.
Great. Jeremy is oblivious. Sebastian would be more savvy.
Savvy?
Savvy. All right. So I'll be super direct with this. We talked last night. You said you might be able to help me if I'm in trouble. I don't know if I am or not. My sister and I got in some trouble with the organization. We are in some sort of agreement with the REE to get her back. There is some kidnapping or extortion and some other things going on. And we are meeting tonight at the Fig and Fable at 10 o'clock. I'm not saying I need help, but if there were 2 or 3 or 1 or whatever friendly faces around, any kind of old debt or future debt, I wouldn't be opposed to it. And if it's too big a problem, then ignore this conversation and have a nice day.
So her face went like she was shocked for a moment.
Sure.
And then you see her try to get under control. She kind of does. And by the end of by the end of your little monologue, she has grabbed your drink and she's drinking it. And she sets it down and she says, "Okay, okay, okay. That's a lot."
Sure, not an active role or a support cast.
Well, no, we would all be dead if we went against the group you just said out loud. Like, it's not a big deal. What do you want? What are you trying to do?
You know, I think that it's going to go over super smooth, and the agreement's been made, and she's just going to get turned over. But you never know. You never know what's going to happen. So, just some more people in our corner. Or, hey, there's somebody outside with a crossbow pointed at your head, and then leave. That sort of thing.
Look, I don't want to know any more details, please. The more you tell me, the more someone could get out of me. But how many friends are we talking about? Like you and Eliara. I mean, yeah, you're like, you know, we're all family to each other. But how many? Otherwise?
3, 4.
Okay, if you needed to disappear, I mean, I could probably do that. Not me, but you know.
Sure. You know a guy that knows a guy.
Fuck.
Okay. No, that's great. Thanks. Thank you. That's a lot. It's huge. Thank you.
Don't get killed. Tell her she owes me a dress. She never gave it back. I have to go work. Don't be stupid. God. And she just stands up and she like squeezes your shoulder and she walks away.
Yep. Alright. Head back to the inn.
Alright. You guys are standing out in front of forgot the name, Arcanian Books and Mercantile. It's about 1 o'clock in the afternoon.
You want?
Poke around, the more I'm getting the sense that maybe we should be being a little bit more delicate about this.
Also, do you want to go back and use that on the books, or are you trying to do that later?
Oh, I don't need to necessarily do that now. I just wanted to make sure that I had access to it now. So I figured this was the best place for it. I hear what you're saying about how we should be more delicate about this. this could also be our only chance our entire life that we can find out about these schools and what the different rings mean and how I could get into these universities. And I think that you don't have to come with me, but I have to know. I can't hear anything you're saying.
Because
Not just because I zoned you out.
Microphone and the volume decided to just shut off and very
And the
long.
volume was like, nope.
Obviously, I'm going with you if you're going somewhere, Celeste.
So, okay, so maybe we just find somebody that we think that we could talk to and that maybe I could persuade them to tell me about it.
Could I interject and just quickly say though that like we are potentially leaving tomorrow. Why don't we put that on the list to do when we come back? If we ever come back here, rather than if.
We
But
may
I'm
never
saying
come
even
back
if you
here
figure out
again.
how to attend one of these schools, we're leaving. Are we not leaving to like probably tomorrow?
Diz and
So like even if you find out,
Shouldn't.
it's still not.
Shouldn't we find out how I could? If I wanted to come back? Maybe I never want to come back.
Diz and Wyatt make a perception check.
That is a natural 18 for a 19.
13.
Okay. Wyatt, as you're having this conversation, you look north across the street at the wildly gesticulating wizard friend of yours. And over her shoulder, you notice a shadow in like the alley, these broad, spacious, lovely, well manicured alleys. There's a person that's just standing there, and that's what catches your attention. Most everybody else is moving, and you assume it's a he because it is a fairly broad outline of an individual. But they're not moving, and you barely pick them out in the space between those two buildings, but you can just make out that figure, and it seems to be looking straight at all of you.
I'll let them know. I think we have someone watching us right now.
Celeste, so that she doesn't
Why-
spin around her shoulder.
why
And,
don't-
like, Greg, just grab her for a second.
Why don't we try to go back to the inn and we can read this book with this scroll, and while you're doing that, I can ask around maybe like the staff. Oh, motherfucker.
We can still hear you.
Yep.
Oh shit. Okay. Sorry, everything just froze on my screen. Why don't we just go? I'm sorry. Now I'm frozen.
No, you're not frozen.
Okay. Lovely. You all froze again. This is great. Great internet. I would say why don't we go back and why don't we read the books that you want to read, and then I can ask around downstairs or see if we can find out some of the information you want to know, or maybe Bass has that information, and maybe not
If he
be
ever shows up,
here
or if he
where,
ever wants to deign himself with our presence.
Gently start leading Celeste in the vague direction of the inn, but as much as I can without expecting that I will get myself lost. I want to take a very fast and roundabout way.
Okay.
I know that seems contradictory, but I'm trying to throw somebody off where we're actually going.
Okay. So you head back east, but then you know the street you have to go is south. So you just kind of duck south into these. Technically, it's an alley, but it's a little too broad to be an alley. But you just head south. You pretty soon are just walking between, in these side streets between these large buildings, and you get to another square with another statue in it, and you have no idea who it is. And you think you're fairly close. Make an intelligence check.
Can I help with that?
Nope.
I have no idea. Yes,
Yeah.
yes, you can. You can roll one.
That is a 13 plus, I think, 8.
Yeah, you got it. So You look and you're like, and you kind of pull up, your mental map, and you like look around, and then you're like, wait a minute, and you look down and you realize that in the southwestern part of this little small square, that's the alley that's adjacent to your building. So you guys all go down there, and then you turn, and you're right there at the Bookbinders Club. And you actually get there right as, through the magic of your dungeon master, Sebastian, who is walking in at the same time.
Miracle.
Did you plan that?
Yes. Oh, you're talking to Jared. So.
Plan what?
Alright.
Anyway, we should get off the street.
Fine.
Okay.
Sorry, Diz, what was that?
Why is that?
The group we're meeting with, apparently, not everybody sees eye to eye on what should happen right now, allegedly.
You mean with your sister? Let's go.
Let's go inside and we can talk about it.
Yeah. Let's go.
Kind of like look behind as I am the last one through the door.
Where do you go? Do you go into your rooms, or do you go to the smoking room?
Yeah, that's fine. Let's go
Rooms.
inside. Where's
All right.
Mira?
You don't see her.
Go to her room and knock on the door.
She sticks her head out. Yes.
We're in the Borealum on the street. Apparently, the group we're meeting is not all of one accord, if that makes sense. So, keep your nose clean.
Yes. Everyone please get into your rooms, and I'll see you this evening. Food will be brought up to you.
You want to, is there someone that you can be around right now, so you're not by yourself?
I rolled
Come
my
with us.
eyes.
I'll
Or
be
she
fine.
should.
Good luck.
Or you could all just stay in here with me.
Yeah, let's do that. Go inside.
She looks at the rest of you.
What a delight. Go on in.
Hey, let's get this over with.
Sure.
Before we go inside, I kind of like pull Celeste like off and like let her go. You can be angry with me all you like.
I'm not angry. I get it.
You're a grown woman, Celeste. You don't need anybody looking after you. But if I can admit something to
Well,
you,
if that was true, I wouldn't have been dragged back here, now would it?
I'm not entirely certain why I'm along for this. Seems like the rest of you can do things that I can't. And if the only reason I'm here is to make sure that everybody else makes it back. If I've got a job to do, I'm gonna do it. And then I just kind of like go into the
Like, as you start to go, I like put my hand on your shoulder and I'm like, you tend to be pretty rash. So it's gonna be a pretty big job. Thanks.
Alright. So you guys go in, and as you go in, Mira is looking down at the mirror on her desk, and she's saying, "Yes, a full company. Yes. No, I just tell them to wait outside, and I'll be out much, much, much later. Yes, they're gonna wait all day. Yes, I know. I'll pay them. Okay. Thank you. There should be company of
Three
security.
Security.
So they'll be out front. I am having refreshments brought up. I hope everybody has a good book.
Man.
Great. Make yourselves at home, I guess. And so you bed in. Food's brought up, wine and water and snacks. The hours slowly tick by, being forced to be in a room together, knowing that something may or may not be out there. It's uncomfortable, it's odd, but it beats being locked in your rooms on the ship.
Or a window?
There's a window.
Yeah, just every once in a while.
Make a perception check.
Subtly look.
So,
16.
Charlo was peeing during this, so I'm going to use this opportunity to be in character and be like, so, Sebastian, you said this group may not be all of one mind? What does that mean?
Seems like some of them are okay with the deal that was made, and some of them may want to kill some of us. Who they might want to kill or hurt, harm, or dissuade, I don't know. Maybe there's like a power grab inside of the organization itself, some sort of anarchy in the ranks, vying for different power. Or maybe it's just some people that hate me or agree with, I don't know why exactly they wanted Wyatt. Hard to say. It would take more time to find out.
Do we know who we think? Or do you just know that there's general shift in?
For sure. What I do know is that very dangerous, nondescript man we met last night met me on the street and said that I should look out. And last night, coming back here, was a shady, cloaked, large figure following me.
You guys could all hear this conversation, by the way. You're in a
I'm not being quiet.
hotel
Right.
room.
I'm not trying to be... Didn't the two of you say you saw someone following us?
Broad shoulders,
Yeah.
gay tall.
Describe. Does that? Yes. Yeah.
So maybe it is just one
Same.
person
Same.
and not a whole splinter group. Or maybe that's just the guy they've got watching us.
Look at Mira, because I'm sure she overheard this.
I've not left. I haven't seen anything. I can't risk it. I'm an Eldmoorish agent. It's dangerous enough for me to be here in the first place.
During this conversation, I just been like chewing on my nails, and I cast mage armor on myself.
Got
Glowing armor.
Yeah, that's fucking right.
Love it. What's it look like?
It looks amazing. It's glittery and pretty, and
Do you do it?
yeah,
You want to put a cloak over that or something?
you wouldn't put a cloak over it. Yeah, I put a cloak over it. Fine.
Put a bird on it.
It looks like those girls who wear like the Disney princess dresses. It looks like that, kind of a shimmery
exactly
and
it.
ethereal. Yeah.
Yeah, you know Cinderella's dress is kind of shiny, has little sparkles. Yeah.
I don't, but I'll take your word for it. So, the last few hours tick by, the sun sets, and before you know it, you're all standing up, finishing, getting refreshed and ready to go, and Mira stands up and she's like dusting off her dress, and she says, "Well, I guess I won't change. Everyone ready? Wyatt?"
In those interim hours, I would like to be on the windowsill, trying to perfect that smoking concoction, and I'm doing it at the windowsill. So if it is bad, it's gonna not smoke up their window. But I really want to perfect that before we might need to make a getaway.
So you don't really have your stuff
I got really
with you?
close last time.
You don't have your stuff with you, right? Or is it all in the bag?
I mean, like, it's in the bag, and then I also just got new ingredients. The best ingredients, as you said.
No, so normally I was going to make you make a check with advantage with this stuff because it was really, really amazing. But, like, on the windowsill, while you're in the middle of all this stuff, like, rushed, I was going to give you disadvantage. So just make a regular tinkering check. What'd you do, Ray?
What did you do? That's not a one. It's fine.
It's 2, but it's plus, like, I think it's 8.
Okay.
So 10.
It fails. It starts to smoke. Like, everybody starts yelling at you. You put it out and you douse it in like a mug of ale or something like that and pour it over the side. Okay, so Mira opens the door and escorts all of you downstairs. You don't even notice all of the people, the raucous laughter, the fragrant smoke that trails out of the smoking room. You don't notice the lovely staff as you leave. You barely even notice the guards in their severe black suits. You get inside of the hovering carriage and you see the movement begin out the windows. Moments pass. Some of you clench your fists nervously. Others mess with a loose thread on one of your garments or touch your hair. But then before too long you stop and you step out in front of a very large, warm-looking stone inn. It has a big porch that kind of wraps around it that is covered by the roof. There are a few tables and chairs off to the right. It seems to be loud and active and bright. Mira looks around, leads you all inside.
Diz, what do you look like right now? How are you dressed?
Put my, like, as much of my, like, regular, like, plain clothes on as I think would not stick out. So I don't look like a street rat, but, like, blue collar.
Yeah.
Are you armed?
If I have seen other people wearing their arms on their hips, then yeah, like, I'm, like, cutlass on one hip, whip on the other.
Cool. Before I get out of the... Sorry. Before I get out of the carriage, I'll pop that spear out.
Okay.
Just put it on my back.
Okay. You guys walk into the loud, warm, boisterous common room of this tavern, the Fig and Fable. You look around, huge, broad bar towards the back end of the room. There's tables and chairs kind of strewn all over the place. The smells of cooking waft in from somewhere in the back. You look around and it's a cacophony of people and places and sizes and shapes and races, cultures, languages. You hear someone yelling about the price of bread in a city whose name you've never heard of. You hear another person who is trying to convince someone that the amulet is real. The amulet is real. I know it's real. And you hear another person standing over, and they're both looking at this empty table off to the corner. It's really strange. This place is packed, but this one table is empty, and they're looking at it, and you can hear her say, "That's it. That's where he sat. That's it." And you're just kind of standing there in this room. Someone comes up, just looks at you. "Hi." And it's a young woman, Elvin. She says, so you are here, guests of the Fig and Fable? You have a reservation downstairs, is that right?"
That's right.
"Excellent. If you'll just follow me. If you have any questions, please let me know." And she turns and she starts to guide you to the right of the big bar.
What's going on with that table? It's empty over there.
Oh, that's our very famous table. That's where Ray's himself would come and sit at our inn and drink by himself on many in the evening. You look over there and there's like a little plaque, like on the wall next to it.
Okay. Sorry, I asked.
It's true.
People.
It's true. He really did.
Right.
Okay. She opens the door and starts leading you guys down some stairs. And you come out into what looks like a storage room. There are barrels. There are puddles on the floor of, hastily spilled ale or wine. You see casks of beer, casks of wine, a large container of salt, all kinds of things. And then she points to what you assume is your east and says, "Just past those double doors in there." And she darts back up the stairs. Mira steps over towards the doors, looks back at all of you and says, "Okay, are you ready?" And she pulls a letter from inside of her dress. She nods. She steps into the adjacent room. And you guys should be able to see the map now.
I can't see.
Yeah, follow her in.
Okay.
And I'm gonna stop Celeste right before we go in, because we're the last through the door, and just tell her, if you want me to do the thing I did on the docks, just say the word sassafras. Okay?
Which docks?
The nuclear option.
I assumed, but I was just sassafras. I squeeze his hand and I go, "You know I've got your back, right?"
I do.
Okay.
Let's go.
We got this. We're gonna be peace cake.
Somebody's no big deal.
Okay, so go in. So if you haven't already, just go ahead and you can move your token into the room. And you see a long table with some smaller casks kind of lining the walls of this fairly large room. I'm going to go ahead and move Celeste because...
Well, because I'm having a hard time? Yeah.
It's okay. And then at the other end of the table, against the far wall, you see Shayla, who you saw before. You see Borealan in his half-drow form. And then you see two large armored guards on either side of them. And those are the only people in the room.
Does either of the armored guards look the same as the people that were following us?
Make a perception check.
We are the splinter group.
That is 13.
They don't look familiar to you, and they're both very large men. Larger, even, as far as you can tell, than the figure that you saw.
Copy.
What's that letter for, Mira?
She looks at you, and then she looks at them, and she says, "So, we have an agreement?" Shayla says, "Yes. We need it in writing from your government." Mira lets out a sigh and says, "Here," and she just tosses it, and it slides down the table. Borealan leans forward, grabs it, opens it. Hands it to Shayla. She glances at it. "It's not as ironclad as I wanted. It is everything you asked for. It is more than you deserve." "What do you say?" Borealan looks at her and says, "Enough with the performance. Yes, the deal is agreed." He looks over at the guard over his shoulder. The guard nods, and he opens a door just behind him. Reaches inside a dark interior, and pulls out a woman with dark hair, a red dress, hair pulled up. She comes out. She's not bound. Her hands are just kind of almost reflexively drawn close to her, clasped in front of her. She looks around the room. She sees Sebastian. She shakes her head. Borealan says, "Go ahead."
Over to her, briskly but not alarmingly.
She takes a hesitant step towards you, still looking at them, and then begins to walk faster, and you guys meet halfway through, down the table.
And I will put myself between them and her.
Okay. Borealan says, "And with that, our deal is concluded. We thank the government of Eldmoor for their very real and," he holds the letter, "very provable assistance in our efforts. We hope you enjoy what you have gained as well." And they all turn and file into that room to the north, and then shut the door behind them.
When they turn around, somebody in the organization attacks us, that might have some sort of adverse effect on that agreement. Something you want to think about. Locking your people up.
Sorry, I just moved the map stupidly.
That's fine. I don't think we need the map.
There we go. I got it fixed.
Map shift.
Yeah. So you say that, and they look at you, and no one says a word. They
I
just,
didn't figure they were.
they just continue out until they shut the door. As soon as they shut it, she grabs your hands and she says, "What the fuck did you do?
Get out of here. We'll talk about it later.
We have to get out of here. We have to
That's
hide.
That's why I just.
Who are these people?
Let's
What
get
did
out
you...
of here. Let's talk about that later.
I could kill you." And then she grabs you and hugs you.
Hug her back.
And that's where we're going to end tonight.
Great.
All right. Well,
Jeff just looks so pleased with himself. He's like, I remembered to write
He does look
down
so
today."
pleased. He's like, "Oh, I've got notes."
so...
Well, I think it was either
Guess
last
who's
time or the time
going
before. I
first?
forgot.
Sorry, guys. Got this little cold and I've been coughing all evening, so I apologize. Great game tonight. It never goes the way I expect it, and that is the beauty of playing a story with other people. So let's... I know it's late. If you guys have time, love to do the 3 things. And
Always.
I feel like there were some definite highlights here, so who wants to get us started?
I would love to. So I loved Celeste buying the fans because that was something that I really wanted to do secretly and then gift them. But I love that that's how it played out. That was really good. Great minds. I love Jeremy's the kill and the sex, and he just scratches it out. I really enjoyed that moment where he's just like, "Nope, I'm not listening to you. Fuck off." I loved Celeste speaking to about Bass and saying he might actually be useful for once, basically, and that was really, really, really well done. I really like John's narcoleptic NPC.
Yeah.
That was excellent. I really enjoyed him, and I was that was amazing. I love that guy, and then the girl's reaction to him just like in the sleeve, that was excellent. And I was also really impressed with how easily Diz just gets shit done at the store and just like, yeah, I have a story, boom, done, we're done. And then Celeste and I like fuck it up. It was well done.
Always.
Awesome. All right, who's next?
I also had narcoleptic bookstore man. Celeste, like, describing that she was tugging on Diz's sleeve like she would tug on her mom's sleeve really got me in my jellies. Also, Sebastian's sugar mama gave him the to-do list and then him scratching one of them out. The amulet is real conversation. I know it just happened, but that's going to be important in like 70 episodes, and we're all going to think back on this and be like, oh, he
Yes.
warned us. So I'm calling it right now.
Yeah.
And the the alchemy supplies guy just looking at all of us and going, "Are you on drugs?" And everything about the alchemy supply guy in general.
Yeah. Do you want a love potion? Why are you here for my love potions? Yeah. So I loved Diz remembering about the pocket watches with the dwarfs and like keeping an eye out looking for them. Being like, what's pulling out of their pocket, what's happening. And then my favorite thing overall is like the rings, figuring out that this person that potentially put this sea monster Abolus? I don't know, whatever. After us came from one of the schools. Aboleth, yeah. Which I'm like, oh my god, I want to know everything about this. Also then, John talking about Wyatt and Diz being distracted by a curly-haired black dog, pulling us back into the story. And then I also have the realization of like, there are so many groups that are very powerful, and then them being splintered up too. Like Sebastian's realization of like they have different things within their own sections. So that's what I had written down.
When Diz said, when Celeste said, if you know what I mean, and then Diz was like, I really don't. That's the way I feel most of the time with Charlotte in real life. Most of the game, I was just super nervous and anxious. So that's the only thing I wrote down, just because I was like, I wonder what terrible thing is about to happen with this thing. So yeah.
Now you still don't know. Just sit with that for a week.
Yeah.
Awesome, guys. You know,
what were your 3 favorite things?
me? Maybe do it every
You?
week.
Yeah, so why don't you just do it?
Yeah, because you play this game with us.
You're
Alright,
not
so-
auditing this class. You still have to turn in the reports.
I'm the teacher.
Yeah,
Please.
sucks
Alright.
to be the teacher.
So, here's why it's frustrating for me is because like I'm juggling all this stuff, and so like Diz said something early on, and I was like, man, it was so good, I gotta remember it. And now I can't remember exactly what she said, but there was like something you said early on that I was just like, yes, come on, Jam, nailed it. Like I loved it. I thought you had a great game. You know, like the moments when you need to step up, like you step up, and
Yeah.
your character is so like consistent. That's what I mean. It's just so like she's there, and she's like a real person that's there when she's there, and I just love that. I really liked Sebastian was in the moment. You know what I mean? Like, and how could he do anything but be distracted? And your encounter with the urchin, excellent, right? Like going and finding him and like giving him gold. Like that's a super excellent character building moment. I thought that was really great. You're dealing with Alabaster. You know, I liked the conversations you guys had. And it felt very natural. It was very good. I really liked. I really liked so much of like just what Jeff does in general, but it's hilarious that like this random thing about the fans, and Jeff's like, scratch that off, and just write it down. But it shows you like how much forethought he's putting into how his character interacts with other characters about stuff that's like not massive plot stuff. It's just like depth, and that's really awesome to me. Right? That's the texture of a good story. And then you know, Celeste, you know, having to call her out on the spell, that was awesome. You know what? I gotta be honest with you. Like I've read that spell too, and I also missed it. And if it wasn't for Critical Role, I would have forgotten it and not noticed it. So, Liam's playing his wizard like very meticulous to like you know, spell components.
Has to be expensively turned into a nut cat every time he summons him as a nut cat.
That's right. So, anyway, but I thought Celeste had a great game, and like you know, once you got something to kind of sink your teeth into in the city and stuff like that, that was a lot of fun to watch. And I wish we had more time. You know, I wish we were playing for 5 hours, so we really could have investigated that. But not you, Jeremy. You know, I would have let you go and do something else. But you know, but I wanted you guys to have freedom. I really wanted you to have some breathing room, some freedom, and to be able. I feel like you needed some room to make some choices, because it may not look like it, but you have some choices. This is a big crossroads, and what happens in this next game is going to determine a decent chunk of the first part of this campaign. So I'm excited to see what's going to happen. I thought you'd get there tonight, but I am always wrong about that. So that's awesome. Anyway, that's it from us, guys. Thank you so much for those of you watching. I hope you enjoyed it tonight. Remember, catch us next Monday, 8 p.m. and join the resistance. Good night.